All right, everybody, welcome back to another live Pendergast podcast. It's an absolute honor to finally get my man Jesse J in the house. What is up, Jesse?
What's up?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Busy, busy. Never
Dude,
stops.
it don't never stop, does it?
No.
It don't. It's a constant thing. It's a constant battle every day. So yeah, man. I had a little trouble with Facebook there for a second, so I had to just re-add it to the stream. But we are live on Facebook right now. So yeah, man. Listen, Jesse, we got a lot to talk about, man. So I just want to jump into it, man. Tell us where your journey started on two wheels.
Oh man. Uh, where do you want to start on that? Shit. Um, I guess when I was a kid, I got hell, I think it was 7 or 8 years old. I got my first mini bike, something like that. It was an old Honda Trail 70 that
Love it.
my dad found, and then got into motocross racing. Oh God, man, make me feel old now. I can't even remember how long ago this was. Started motocross racing about age of 9, 10, something like that, and that started the pulled a CR80 out of a dumpster that somebody had disassembled and thrown in the dumpster behind the body shop my dad used to work at. And at the time, I just kind of started watching motocross and seeing some of that on TV and the magazines and things like that. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. These guys just flying high, getting all dirty, crashing, doing all that dumb shit. And my dad, I'm like, I want to race, I want to race, I want to race. And he's like, well, we found this CR in the back of a dumpster. If you can figure out how to put it together and make it run, I'll take you racing. So I don't think he thought I'd figure it out.
He come home and
To
was
be
like,
honest
"Holy
with you,
shit!"
yeah, we pulled it out. We ended up taking it over to his buddy's garage. My dad didn't even have a garage at the time, so we took it over to his buddy Greg's house. We used to hang out a bunch, and he kind of supervised and helped a little bit, but yeah, I don't think they thought I'd pull it off. So
I love it.
got it running, and we went and bought this frame of a trailer, something else. I don't know. I mean, this is back before Facebook and Marketplace and Craigslist, right? Or I think he found somebody in the newspaper classifieds with some trailer for sale for like $20. Didn't have a deck on it, so I had to scavenge wood, put a deck on the damn thing and a wheel chalk to tie the thing down, put it on the back of his conversion van, and started going to motocross races. So that's kind of where it all started. That kind of got into that pretty quick. Got a little heavier. Got a job, two jobs. I think my mom might remember this, and I don't know if I'm going to rat myself out to my brother here, but I remember having to lie on a job application, or a worker's permit, right? Because I was underage to get. At the time, I don't even know what the laws are now, but when I was a kid, you were restricted on how many hours. You could only have one job at one place until you were a certain age. So I actually stole my brother's name and his identity to go work at another job. And I was washing cars in the back of the body shop my dad worked on. Anything I could to get $5, right, to throw gas in the dirt bike, and ended up saving up and buying a brand new CR actually. So we went to the old Honda Man dealership, which no longer exists, but walked in there, and I think I was like 12 by then, with a fistful of cash, which to me seemed like a whole lot. It was probably like $2,500 back then for a brand new dirt bike. But yeah, walked out of there with a new CR80 and kind of started going harder with that, doing some marina cross in the wintertime because it's Wisconsin and you're kind of limited on where you can go. But yeah, so I mean, that's where it started.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
awesome.
and my dad was a big two-wheel guy. He was different style, but spent a lot of time in the back of the clubhouse. But if you know where I'm going with that,
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. That's awesome. Everybody's got a unique journey into it, and growing up doing the whole dirt bike thing. When did that for you transition into, track days in the street?
yeah. I mean, I got out of motocross 13, had a pretty good wreck that kind of sidelined me, and then ended up having to sell all my motocross stuff to actually at that point in time. The reason I sold everything and got out was my dad had an injury and was not able to work, and the bank was going to repossess his Harley. So I sold all my gear to pay his Harley off for him, just kind of as a pay it forward for what he did for me. And there's another story that goes in the back of that on why he had to get a new Harley. And it was, you know, the original Harley that he sold it for extremely cheap to fund something directly related to me. So I recognize that at a young age that he made a big sacrifice for something he really loved. So I made sure to kind of pay it forward at the time. So that's kind of how that all started. And, you know, riding on the back of my dad's bike, I remember 5 years old the first time I jumped on the back. And I remember him calling the police department saying, "Hey, what's the law? State of Wisconsin." And they said, if he can reach the pegs and he's got a helmet on, he can ride. So that was that.
And off we went. I remember the same thing. My dad used to do the same thing to me in Florida. But I was littler. I used to sit on the tank, put my hands, hold the handlebars, and just, you know, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, parking lots, we would do that kind of stuff, even in the wintertime. You know, him teaching me to drive cars. It was taking his car out to a parking lot full of snow and just him working the pedals, me on his lap with the steering wheel, and him drifting and doing donuts, anything to make the car out of control, right? Just to try to throw me for a loop. But yeah, I mean, so he was the one that kind of really pushed me into the two wheels. I used to love riding with him on the back. And I didn't really have anything of my own for a while there. Like I said, I was 13 when I sold all that stuff. When I was in high school, kind of got back into riding. That's when I got into sport bikes with the girl that I was dating. Her older brother had got shipped off in the Air Force, and we were old family friends. And I knew her older brother as well. He was 4 years older than me, and he had this CBR F3 600 that he had that was basically brand new, sitting in his parents' garage. And she somehow called him up and convinced him to let me ride it with her on the back, so that we could go out riding with her parents when they would go out. So that kind of got me on the street scene right after graduation, or might even before that in high school. Either way, I was like 17, 18, picked up my first bike, you know, street bike. It was a GSXR 750. So got real heavy in the street scene, riding around, getting into trouble, you know,
doing the stupid squid shit we did.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I had the nickname Zip Tie.
Where'd that come from?
Well, when your bike's held together by zip ties after crashing it so many times, you know, and you're carrying around in the back pocket to fix shit. We actually had one of my bikes. One of the bikes, it was a retired race bike that came down through the pipeline. Tony Stortiolo, if you still kind of current, you know him. Snoop, it was one of his race bikes, and it had passed hands a few times, ended up way to my house. This thing was a mutt. I mean, that was a F2 96 CBR F2, whatever it was. I think it had a Kawasaki front wheel fitted on it. This thing, it was bad, but it was a monster. The thing was fast. And that bike had been crashed so many times. I ended up crashing it. At one point in time, we had the water pump held on with zip ties for a whole season. Go down the street. We just looped together around the whole fucking engine. Just put some JB Weld with some silicone around the O-ring, and that water pump was held on because we broke all the studs off the engine casing from crashing it. But I would just go out and do wheelies and, you know, dumb shit with it and, you know, squid stuff.
Yeah, so we're all guilty of that. It's funny you said the whole zip tie thing. I did the same exact thing. Instead of buying fairings, I was like, get a drill, give me some drill bits and a buttload of zip ties. And
dude, yeah. It was that bike was like the Joseph coat of many colors. It was spray painted. Every panel was spray painted a different color. Like it's somebody crashed it. Even the guys that had it before me, they'd crash it, just whatever. And at the time, that whole group that we started, we used to work at that power sports dealership, which actually was where I bought my original dirt bike from. And I ended up getting a parts job there in high school. And they'd passed hands through there many times. So it was rough. Scavenging parts wherever you could, because we didn't have no money. Broke. I was running takeoffs. You know, guys would have race takeoffs. They'd bring them to the dealership, and for us, it's free tires, right? We're just pulling them out of the pile, mounting new tires every other week, burning them up. Yeah,
Facts. And we wasn't fast enough back then to even give a shit, right? Like,
Oh God, no,
yeah,
no. We were more interested in cruising the strip and looking cool and
picking
doing
up chicks
wheelies.
and
Oh
all
yeah,
that. Yeah, check out
yeah,
this rolling burnout and this wheelie. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We all been there and done that, running from the police. Yeah, I'm glad I'm still alive.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad I'm still alive.
I got in a stint of trouble with that one. So
Yeah, yeah, me
well,
too. One time I remember when I first showed up to Phoenix, it was all out. The big thing in Phoenix was like roll-ons out there on the interstate, right? To be like 50 of us. Never seen a helicopter with a spotlight. Next thing I know, this big spotlight comes out, police everywhere, everybody just like cockroaches. I don't even know where I'm at, Jesse. Like I'm in a new place, new state. Don't have no idea, even
mhm.
90% of these people. I ended up at this dead end street, got off a bike that I was borrowing, opened up a garage door, rolled it in there, and shut the door and prayed that the owners didn't come out, right? Sat there for like 30 minutes and went straight home and was like, woo, got away with that one. It's yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I got in trouble. I actually had to do a little stint from
Ah.
running, um, and God, all the times that we did and got away with it. I mean, yeah, we did some sketchy stuff, but yeah,
That's
yeah,
part of it, right? That's part of
yeah.
getting into it. And then, the whole squid thing. What got you into the whole track deal?
Um, so I mean, racing has always been something that I've been, a huge fan of. Car racing, 'cause my dad was a gearhead. He was in the muscle cars, motorcycles, right? I mean, we were going to Indy car races, dirt track races. He had some friends that locally are kind of some local legends in the dirt and asphalt series that are running around here. The Source Brothers, which those guys. Source Brothers, their dad, he's a big legend around here, but the sons are still racing. They own a local scrap company here. And they really were pretty instrumental as well as kind of getting, as a young age, me getting into racing as a fan and as a kid. First car I ever painted actually was Danny Source's race car, 87 Monte Carlo.
Nice.
Yeah, it won best in show for the yearbook photos in the first round. It was beautiful, red, white, and blue, pearl. I mean, my dad taught me how to paint on that car, and it was gorgeous. And then Danny wrecked it 3 times that weekend. I remember first race, we're back in the pits and pulling metal, trying to straighten it out. And I'm over there with the spray can, and they're spray rattling the bodywork. And I'm just like, fuck. Like, dude, we spent so much time on this thing. It's funny too. I ran into Danny about a month or two ago. They were dropping off a dumpster at my neighbor's house for their re-roof, and I walk up to the truck, and I'm like, "Hey," and he's looking at me. He's like, "Who?" And I'm like, I said, "Hey, you remember me?" And he gets out of the truck. He's like, "Holy shit!" I haven't seen him in 25 years. So we were kind of talking about that just recently. And he's asking me, he goes, "You involved in racing?" I'm like, "Yeah, just a little bit." And I said, honestly, you guys were the ones that kind of got me, got that fire lit, right? The competition side
Yeah.
is what it's always been for me.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
you go back to the old racing, whether it was NASCAR days or guys are lighting cigarettes in the car, IndyCar, open wheel stuff. The motorcycle, the motocross stuff was gnarly back then. The motorcycle road racing was gnarly. And growing up as a kid, racing for me was something that I always saw as like, that's what men do, right? That was like, you want to be a man, go out there and wad your shit up and get up, dust it off, light up a Marlboro and, chug a Bud Light and get back on the horse, right?
That's it.
So like, that was like the example of like what I saw, growing up as a kid, these old guys. And I always thought that was the coolest thing. I always thought that was the most amazing thing. And when I got into it, I quickly realized like why, right? Why these guys do this. And, we come from a pretty rough background, to say the least, financially, where we grew up, things like that. The family dynamic was pretty tough at times, between living, splitting time between my dad and mom, two completely different lifestyles, right? Like my mom was really religious, real faith going. She did everything she could as a single parent for us, did an awesome job. But, we didn't have a lot of resources. And my dad's lifestyle was a complete opposite, like I mentioned, kind of living in the back of the clubhouse for a lot of years, basically. And so we just didn't have the means to do a lot of this stuff. And when I got the opportunity to do it, for me, the first thing that I realized was, and comparatively to a lot of other sports too, because that was the other thing. I've been competitive in everything. Like sports for me, in competition for me, was just a way. Yeah,
Life.
that was, it was like, hey, this gets me out of the neighborhood. This gets me away from, certain groups of people. This occupies my time in a healthy way, right? And that competition was always like the equalizer, right? Like, I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your background is. I'm gonna beat that ass, and we're equals, right?
Yeah.
That's, you're earning respect through competition. That's kind of just the way it always was. And the racing side specifically, I remember the first time taking the gate, doing motocross, and it was like, dude, for me, it was crazy, like it was just insanity. I got 50 guys on either side of me because nobody cares about track density, 30 years ago. And everybody just wants to rip each other's heads off, but it's like, you're just looking forward, right? It's just it's you versus everybody else. It's not, a team thing at the time. I mean, going further into racing and down the road, obviously team is a huge element to the racing, but at the root form of it, it was just kind of you against the track, right? And you against the guy in front of you. And that was it. So it's a real, for me, it was like a real humbling, thing every time I put the visor down or put the goggles on back then. But yeah, it was just a different thing. It was a way where nothing else mattered, because in a lot of sense, race, and it's still true today. I mean, it's still a fairly common result, unfortunately, in our particular sport, where death and paralysis is still a big issue that we deal with, right? So you have to be committed and you have to be focused, and you can't worry about anything else that's going on in your life. So for me, that was the hook, that kind of what got me into it. And then road racing, the circle track stuff was really cool watching when I was a kid. Kind of dabbled with that a little bit. I mean, demolition derbies, traveled that circuit for a while.
Now that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my body regrets it these days.
But when you're 18, 19 years old, you're like, I can live forever. Let's go.
Dude, I won one of the biggest ones here in town. There's a final event at Ailes Corners Raceway when they literally bulldozed the track while I was giving my victory speech. Like, you guys couldn't wait? Like, come on. They ripped the place, old legendary track. They ripped it down to put a Menards hardware store in there. So, yay. I digress. But
yeah, me too.
They, that doing that stuff, it was so much fun. But God, like the safety side, like nobody cared. I remember I got hit in the door, broke my pillars. The only thing holding the whole side together of the car was chains. My seat broke. I was holding myself up against the steering wheel, vomiting in my helmet because the whole left side, it broke all my ribs. And I won.
Yeah.
And, thank God the guy on top of me had this big rubber ducky on the roof of his car. That's the only way I could see where he was going. When it came down to the two of us, I could see the head of the duck. I'm like, if I follow that duck, because you have this much space between the hood all crashed up and the trunk and the roof line. So I got into that, drag racing, all the different forms of racing. Hell, I even competitively raced lawnmowers in a fair circuit for a little while.
Bro, lawnmowers? I bet that's highly competitive too.
Oh, dude, those things are crazy.
I bet.
Oh, yeah. Those guys, some of those things are nuts. Like the open classes, like, dude, that thing's tight. No, thanks. I'll keep it on the go-karts if I'm going to do that.
Right. It's funny because I haven't seen it in real life, but I watched it. I come across it one time on YouTube. This lawnmower drag race, and I was like, I gotta watch this. And I was like, these dudes are plumb nuts. Oh
yeah. No, the county fairs and things around, they used to just make a little road course on the grass. Put a bunch of hay bales up and you know, here's blue jeans, a t-shirt, tennis shoes, and a helmet. Have fun, right? Nobody cares about ruts. You know, they don't. It's not like they make it smooth. I mean, God, you want to talk about high side city?
Guaranteed.
Oh, 100%. You're going head first into a hay bale at some point in time.
Oh man. But what fun that was, right?
Oh, it was a blast,
Yeah.
you know, but it's like the combination of all the different things that I was in, you know, the motocross stuff was super fun, but I mean, the injuries are fast, furious, and prevalent, right? It's just nonstop. And a lot of that, you know, it was worried about sidelining me for other sports and things like that I was more focused on. So kind of wasn't missing that so terribly. But the road racing thing to me, I really fell in love with it. I was in high school. You know, we used to go to a lot of Indy cars, Milwaukee Mile, the oval stuff. And that was a lot of fun. The speed is awesome. You know, watching drag race cars, the speed to me was always something that I just absolutely loved. And it wasn't until we went to a road race event at Road America when I was in high school that I really saw road racing, like in person the first time, you know. And that was like the combination that really then hooked me into road racing. Is like, okay, you're going fast, you know, it's Road America. You're doing, you know, these cars down the straightaway are doing the same speed that you guys are doing at the Indy 500, basically. And then you have to turn 90 degrees, you know, talk about shit yourself.
What is this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is before even the motorcycles, before like first saw the motorcycles,
Okay,
it was cars, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, road racing, this is, and then that same year, I also went to my first AMA event and then I was like, oh, okay, this is hot, you know, because again, I'm already looking at the squid side, right? At this point in time, like the girls, the going fast, the doing dumb shit, and I'm like, okay, you can do dumb shit fast on a racetrack, like
Sign me
and
up.
look like a boss.
Sign me up, baby. What do I sign?
Exactly.
How many credit cards you need? Here, take them
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Just give me my wallet back at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I mean, and then I think it was that same year, probably was my first trip down the Blackhawk Farms in South Beloit. You know, it's an hour away from Milwaukee, hour and a half. And my good buddy Tony, who still races, and he's again the one that kind of got me into all this on this side. He was racing. Tony's 4 years older than I am as well, and he started racing club racing. And a couple of the guys from that dealership that we worked at, Tony used to also work at that dealership, and you know, good old Snoop Dogg, Snoop Sales. You know, Kevin Churgelis, Kenny Churgelis. God, I can't remember everybody from back then. Everybody was involved in some type of racing that worked at that dealership, it seemed like. And so Nick's little brother, or Tony's little brother, Nick, actually was in my class. And Sundays after church, and again, just kind of all growing up together in family, I would drive down with with Snoop's mom and his brother and dad sometimes to go just watch him race CCS, you know, at Blackhawk. So, you know, then it was like, okay, I discovered road racing, you know, out of all the racing events that I've been to. Now I've discovered road racing, I've discovered motorcycle road racing, and I know a guy who's doing it, right? And then I know a couple guys that are doing it. It was just super cool, right? It was super cool to go watch. And so that definitely laid the foundation of me getting into the motorcycle racing. Was, you know, watching Snoop and KT and all them boys race. You know, it was a lot of fun. It was super cool, you know, and that was the first club thing that I'd ever been to, right? So going to local drag races and circle track stuff, yeah, that's kind of club stuff, but it's just a different atmosphere, you know. So
100%.
That was super cool, you know. And then when I was 18, I tried to go down and license, and then I, you know, quickly realized my bike's a piece of shit. You know, I'm not going to be able to do anything. These guys are super fast, and I like literally couldn't afford a set of tires, so much less tire warmers and stands and whatever else. You know, I didn't even have a trailer. I'm like, dude, I got to ride my bike to the racetrack.
I've done that.
Like,
or not yet, for real.
Yeah. So after like going for a weekend when I was 18, I was quickly relegated to you know, being too poor to afford anything. So, but that was, you know, just kind of that was the toe dip in the water.
Yeah.
So
and then from there, you track days, and then what made you, want to get into the whole Moto America?
Well, I mean, I hadn't even been around motorcycle racing for a long time before I got involved with you. That outside of going to like the AMA weekends, right? It became like an annual religion. Every June to get up to Road America, the AMA weekends. I mean, dude, they used to be crazy. You want to talk about nutso? Like Road America on an AMA weekend, you go back 25 years ago. Dude, like I kind of find it's hilarious to me that the track and Moto America kind of just made this big announcement about how this past race at RA was the biggest in RA history, and which may be true. I'm sure it's possibly true underneath the Moto America operation side of things. But I remember 25 years ago, and anybody around here can attest to this. You could pull into the gate there and not find a blade of grass to park on. That whole entire area off to the right towards Canada Corner on the outside, which is where all the semi stage, that used to be bumper to bumper with spectator parking. That whole area outside of the grass, turn 14, that goes around the backside of the track, you couldn't find a place to park there. It would take you 3 hours to get out of there at the end of the day Saturday when racing was over, just because traffic was that backed up. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I remember my first time there was when I was helping Chris Lilligard, and that was actually the first time me and you met. That was before
19?
Yeah, 2019. Yeah.
2019, yeah.
That's my first time there. It's one of my favorite racetracks, hands down, in awesome. America. It's beautiful. The food's good. The Spotted Cow beer is absolutely amazing. That's all I heard about. Dude, you got to try Spotted Cow. So I was like, let me get one of those. And I was like, oh my God, it's so good. Yeah, man.
Yeah, only in Wisconsin.
Only in Wisconsin. Yeah, of course, when I was there, I had to get cheese curds and all that good stuff that goes along with it. So,
oh God, I had to pull Gabriel Da Silva out of a Culver's this year.
And that place,
shout out Gabe.
Yeah, shout out Gabe, dude.
He's like, these cheese curds. Oh my God,
bro! I'm telling you, they're.
Yeah. I had to pull him out of Culver's. I'm like,
you can't go there no more. Stop it.
I'm like, dude, you're not going to shit for a week.
Facts, right? He's like, what's the bottle of stool softeners for? Trust me, you're going to need them if you go there. Oh, man. Yeah, and, I just want to say big congratulations on you guys winning the championship, too, in Moto America. You guys absolutely showed up and kicked ass that season. And, put yourself highly on the map as a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was an interesting journey. You mentioned like why we kind of got into the Moto America thing. So like, I did one track day and decided to go racing, like 2017. I think it was 2017. We did one track day at Road America. I had actually been off two wheels for almost 10 years. I didn't even have a motorcycle. I got a pretty bad street wreck, and that particular year on the streets was pretty rough as far as like the group and the guys. Like we lost 9 guys that year on the street that we rode with. So it was getting to the point where like, okay, this is getting a little bit older. At that point I had one daughter at the time, my oldest, but it was kind of like, yeah, I got to grow up, So I didn't even have a motorcycle for almost 10 years. And I remember like one of my buddies was out riding. He was pretty heavy into the street scene and all that kind of stuff. Just, just riding, not being stupid, but just putting together rides, and going to the bike nights and hanging out, just being a lot more chill. And I was like, all right, I'll get another bike. And I bought this EBR because I wanted something different. I want something that was like, unique. I wanted a V-twin. This was actually my first brand new vehicle purchase of any kind. Oh, well, outside of that CR that I bought when I was a kid. But actual real vehicle. I looked at Aprilia, Ducati. I was like, everybody's got those. Like, I don't want this Italian stigma. Like, EBR is like American, Wisconsin made, and the thing's baller, looks cool. It was a blast to ride when I rode it. And I was like, all right, yeah. So we bought that. Shortly after that, my buddy Greg's like, dude, you got to come to the track. He goes, we do all this stupid, we were doing some pretty stupid country rides, not the squid stuff, but like, And a lot of these guys that would come race with us rode and did track days and things like that. And he's like, dude, you're always running up front in the group when we're doing all the twisties and stuff. It'll be fine. So we go to do, he's like, come do a track day. There's one coming up at Road America. I'm like, all right, cool. Like the 2 nights before, he's like, hey, I got us signed up. I know the owners of the track day group. I got us taken care of. I'm like, well, it says they're sold out. He's like, no, just show up. We got to take care of. Oh, by the way, you got to run advanced group.
You're like, wait, what?
I'm like, dude, like I had to rent a suit and gear that weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't have anything. And I'm like, dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So he's like, no, I told him you do track days all the time. He goes, you'll be fine. He goes, I told him you done tons of track days all over the place, yada yada yada. I'm like, dude. So now I'm like scared shitless, right? I'm like, I got to go to Road America. That's my first track day on a motorcycle.
And I'm in advanced group. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to wad up my brand new EBR. Right? So we actually jumped in the truck, my wife and we drove. I found on Craigslist some clapped out 06 GSXR 750 track bike. Guy was asking $3,500 for all this stuff. And when I say clapped out, it was clapped out. And I'm like, I messaged him like, dude, I got $2,500. I can be there in an hour. Like, I'm not, I'm just going to, if I'm going to crash something, I'm going to crash something that's already clapped. And bought that thing, took it to the track the next morning, rode it, had a blast, Then decided the very next weekend was an event at Black Hawk Farm. So I decided to go license that weekend, that very next weekend. So it was a pretty quick dive in, and then from there buying new bikes, gearing up, getting all the stuff. And just went full bore in it, So,
dude, yeah. They say you never go full retard, but in this sport, we always go full retard, 100%.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Go big or go home.
As a fellow retard, I can attest to this. Yes,
yeah.
I'm sure all the other fellow retards listening out there will too.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. And so, how did the whole Disrupt thing just come together, real quick?
So I go, kind of coming back full circle again with Tony, with Snoop. So I hadn't seen him in years. And that weekend to go to the track, I knew I needed to get some tires. And somebody recommended, hey, there's this event going on at Black Hawk Farms. Just go in there, go find Jason Farrell. He's the tire vendor there with Pirelli. Just go up there, introduce yourself, buy some tires, and that way they're ready for the track day. I'm like, cool. So I came in there and I saw Tony and he was racing again. And I was like, dude, like, I didn't know you were racing again. Right. Because I hadn't talked to him in several years and, he's out there kicking ass. Now, Tony was fast back in the day. Like, don't get it twisted. He's always been fast. He took a big hiatus off. I think, he got married and had kids pretty young. Him and his oldest, my oldest, we had kids about the same time. But I think his wife kind of told him years ago that enough was enough. I think it was like one bad crash or something like that he had. That was enough to kind of get the foot down and get serious about a career and family and stuff like that. So he took quite a bit of time off. And so I pull in and I didn't even know he was there, and he's there. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to hang around and watch. Well, now he's winning races that day. I'm like, dude, you're still fucking fast. And then Kevin's there helping him, KT, Tregellis. And I'm like, dude, I didn't know you guys, were doing this. So when I show up to license that next weekend, we get to talking and Tony's like, hey, he's like, you going to come race? Like, you want to get back into racing? Because I had been doing other racing, years before. And I did a stint doing some car road racing. I was go-kart racing with my daughter, all types of different stuff that I was in. But when I saw Tony, he's like, dude, you need to come racing. He's like, can you travel? And I'm like, yeah. I'd just gotten a new job that allowed me a lot of flexibility and was getting paid well. So like the timing of it was perfect to do it. And Tony's like, well, I want to go do this and I want to go do that. I want to go to this racetrack. I want to go down to Florida. I want to go here. I want to go there and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, dude, let's fucking go. Right? Like, hell yeah. he's like, I want somebody to go with me. You know, wife doesn't come to the track anymore. She's bored. We've been doing this for so long. Kids are getting older. They don't really care. He's like, I just want somebody that can travel with me. And, you know, let's go do this and throw our stuff in one trailer. And, you know, so that's what we did. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. Under one stipulation, I need to form a business so I can write all the taxes off.
Facts. I need to start an LLC and something.
Yes. Yeah. So LLC was created for like the following week. And I was like, hey, if, you know, we can pool the money and any stuff into, and, you know, that way it can run it as like a legitimate business, but yeah, we're getting taxed, you know, this and that. And, you know, and that I also then kind of quickly was kind of sponsoring Tony as well. Like you go back to 2019, when you and I first met, you know, I met Chris Lilligard right before that. And that was a result of Tony being like, hey, we're going to Texas, right? We went down to Texas at the beginning of that year. It was like January or February, something like that. Oh, it's going to be great. There's this track, MSR Houston. It looks super cool. All this shit. We show up. The fucking track was a shithole. The pavement sucked and it was snowing out.
You're like,
in
what
Texas.
In Texas.
Yeah, I'm like, dude. But we had a blast. Met Chris that weekend. Dustin Dominguez, which Dustin set track record again that weekend. Yeah. Met a lot of those guys down there, and we just had a blast, you know, despite the snow and the rain and crap that the weekend started with, you know. And then right after that, you know, Tony he was going to do Daytona 200 that year in 2019. So that was kind of like go down south, get some racing in, right, and again get out of Wisconsin for the winter time, try to warm up, and then we went and did Daytona with Tony in 2019. I held the crew with him, with Kevin, Joe, John Cantor, all them boys, and just had an absolute blast, right? So from there, we just kept going. You know, we're like, hey, let's do this. And then, like I said, I met Chris at MSR that weekend, and Chris and I stayed in touch. You know, he came up and did Midwest round early summer. We got to talking, and, you know, Tony, like, kind of mentioned that it was like kind of sort of sponsoring Tony at that point. I was trying to help push him into doing some professional stuff, because, I mean, like I said, dude's fast. You know, he can do it. And for a local guy, you always want to see the local wild card in a pro race, right? Like that's the stuff dreams are made of, you know. Facts. Like bro, when Farrell won at Road America,
bro, legend.
Dude, oh my
legendary.
God. That, out of all the stuff that we've done, I will say that's still probably my favorite win. Like, and to be there for it on the wall and in victory lane, you know, to give him a big high five and a hug, dude, it doesn't get better than that. No. Right? Regardless of who it is. Like, you get that wild card local boy to go do something like that. Like, dude, you can't beat it, you know? No. But yeah, going back to 2019, you know, Chris, I was like, well, hey, Tony's going to do Road America. Why don't you come up and do Road America? Well, you can pit with us. Well, you know, I'll pay for some tires for you, some gas, yada, yada, yada. And then it kind of started with that, if you will, that year, right? So yeah, 2019 at RA is kind of where it started. And it was that year where we also I kind of started looking at things a little bit more seriously. It was drunk around a campfire at Road America.
Imagine that.
Figure. Yeah. All great ideas start with a beer and a campfire.
Absolutely.
We were, you know, my buddy John and all them boys, Cantor, they've been camping out at RA forever, you know, ever and ever and ever. And they get the same campsite. Everybody who goes there, I'm sure you've seen it, you've driven past it. Yeah. They get the huge bar, the karaoke machine, the lights. They got a whole row of, you know, 90 sport bikes that are minty as hell sitting out front. You know where it is.
I know you know where it's at. I know exactly where it's at. I was there hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we're sitting. Shit, you might have been around the campfire. Was I that drunk? You might not even.
Dude, there was a lot of people there at the campfire. There always is. Yeah,
shit,
you could have been
were there.
I was.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
Damn. Yeah, you probably were there. Shit, this might be all your fault.
It probably is all my fault.
I remember we were just all like shooting the shit around the campfire and, you know, talking about the good old days, because that year particularly, like, nobody was there. like it was a ghost town for fan attendance, right? And
It was.
I'm like, dude, like, why is it so dead? So all the guys have been going there for years and years. Like I said, you go back 25 years ago, you know, we remember not being able to find a parking space there. And from one extreme to the other, obviously, like I'm looking at this like, okay, something's seriously wrong here. Why is it this way, right? And that was our first event with doing anything professional. And, there was a lot of politics going on that weekend with some particular things with Moto America and a certain amount of riders. And, just kind of seeing behind the curtain for the first time. It was kind of like, it was a little overwhelming, but also kind of looking at this like there's a lot of room for improvement here. So we were all sitting around the campfire shooting the shit, and everybody's kind of bitching one way or the other. And I don't remember who said it. I feel like it might have been Cantor. But somebody on the other side of the campfire just kind of sitting over by the bar, the little pop-up bar that they always set up, was like, you got a race team now. Why don't you guys go do something about it? I'm like, not a bad idea, right? He's like, God, just go in there and do things the way you want to do it. Don't do what everybody else is doing. Don't do the status quo. Just
be you.
Yeah. And of course, being stupid and drunk, you're like, hell yeah, let's go do it. So that was the beginning, poor choice or not. And of course, like I said, being as a fellow retard, you can probably relate. Once you say something, you kind of need to like show up for it, right? So you're like, fuck, how do I get out of this now?
There is no out of this.
Shit, everybody at the fire heard me say we were going to do it. Now we got to
do it.
So we continued 2019. Tony raced Road America. Chris was doing pretty much the whole schedule with Twins Cup. So, I stayed kind of helping Chris and going out and working some of the events with him, and it just kind of grew from there. It was just pretty organic. It is. And I mean, it all started out as a club thing, like it was one of those things, like I said, it's like, hey, if we're going to do this, like, I want to form an LLC. If I'm going to form an LLC, then we're going to have canopies made and, matching suits. And, because that was one thing that I saw immediately going back into club racing. Is like, there's no team atmosphere, right? There wasn't much partnership at that time, no collaboration between different riders. There's a couple, in speaking in the Midwest, in particular at home here, it wasn't like that. But as we traveled, I got to see that more, right? I saw atmospheres in club racing where there were teams, right? And I'm like, why isn't everybody doing this, right? Why isn't everybody just, it's not, you got to buy suits, right? You got to paint your bike. Why don't you just get a group together, form a team, right? Whether it's on paper or not, and you're accounting or you're not, like whatever, it's, you're doing all the travel, you're spending all that money, you're going the whole entire way. Why don't you just split the effort, right? And collaborate. You learn more about setup. God, if I didn't have Tony there teaching me every step of the way, talking about setup and this and that and the other thing, and just bouncing riders notes off like, hey man, like, here I'm, yellow plate newbie rookie, and I'm rolling with one of the fastest dudes in the Midwest, like, why shouldn't I ask him questions? Right. Like, I'd be stupid not to, right? And that was a huge, huge benefit for me that really helped me progress, get faster in big increments, right? It wasn't just little increments. It went from my first weekend to get my ass lapped by, Farrell, Tony, and Jody Berry, to later on that season actually won a couple class championships as an amateur, right? Like, it, without having that resource available, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that, and for that matter, without having some of the resources that I did, even going back to like the school, there was, guys that help out and really promote, and we're really genuine about growing and bringing people in and making them feel at home. Like I'll say to this day, as much as everything went down and influence from Tony and the guys and help and stuff like that, like there's two guys in particular, Kevin Van Ing and John White. They still run the race school for us at ASRA, and that through Motivid. But I'm not going to go into what happened because Kevin Venning and Johnny did something outside of their lane of what they normally would do. So I don't want to say that they would do it for everybody, but something happened, and I wouldn't have not a license that week. So if it wasn't for them going on a limb. So actually, fuck it. I'll tell you what happened. I crashed through my test. Sorry, Kev. I just ratted you out. No, I crashed during the mock race. And there was somebody there, the sprint race that was going on, the CCS race, because the school used to be on Saturdays, right? So there's live racing and you're just fitting into school in between. There had been a bunch of bikes had crashed and somebody blew up, oiled down through one of the turns. And there was like a bunch of bikes that crashed and went off. And so they did the whole cleanup, things like that. Well, the mock race was the very next session. So we went out and I'm just tooling around, right? Because at this point, I know, and those guys were like, dude, you're the least worried student that we have. Just all you got to do is not crash. And I'm like, cool. And I crashed because I went through the oil. And I saw the oil down. I was actually watching the race when those guys all crashed in that turn. So like I knew that it had happened. But I really didn't think much of it. And I wasn't going to speed or anything like that, like hard by any means. Because again, all you got to do is not crash and I'm getting my license. And I ended up hitting the bike, slid out, kind of went sideways on me, tried to high side. I saved it. I had to jump the curb off the grass through the kitty litter. And I just couldn't get it slowed down in the grass because it was all wet and rained earlier too. And I had to bail off the bike. It was either that or hit the wall. So I told them what happened. You know, they're like, dude, what happened? I'm like, this is what happened. Like, it just sucks. Like, I was pissed. I'm like, seriously, you know? And I was like, I can't believe that I just crashed. Like, this is the last school of the year, right? I wanted to go do this. I wanted to go do that. Me and Tony had talked already. Like, had all these plans. We wanted to go ride all over the place all winter. And this is the last racing school of the year. And shit. And I went and talked to him. I'm like, this is what happened. You know, I said I probably could have maybe saved it somehow. Like, if you knew that the layout, which I won't go into, but in turn 4, A and B at Blackhawk Farms, it's a very common crash spot. But if you knew the layout where you jump the curb, hit the kitty litter, there's this little access road where the ambulance comes across. You know, I was like, I thought I might have could have once I got it on that asphalt, dipped it back to the left and get it on track. But I heard other motorcycles and I didn't want to cut back into the race line. Right. So I'm like, at that point, I'm taking the L. You know, yeah. I'm just taking the L. And, you know, I got buried underneath the ear fence. I was so mad. And so we talked about it and they're like, yeah, we can't license you. And I'm like, I know. So I get it. Rules, you know. So I'm packing up my stuff and I was so mad. Like, I was just pissed. Like, you know, everybody's there. My wife's there, Tony, you know. I'm just like, dude, I can't race this weekend now. I was all amped up. And probably, I was hanging around at the track for a while too. Like, I could have just loaded up and got out of there, but I was just hanging around for a while because I was like, I'm not in a rush, right? Don't even have to get ready for tomorrow anymore. You know, and Kev comes running down. He's like, oh, thank God you're still here. And he's got a certificate for me. And I'm like, what? He goes, I talked to the race director and who also owned and operated the racing school at the time. He goes, look, this is the first time and probably only time we're ever going to do this. But the reason we're giving it to you is because you were so cognitively aware of what was happening throughout the process, and that we all agree that you made the right choice just to run it off in the grass without coming back on the racetrack. And, you know, the oil was there. The cleanup wasn't as good as what the track had originally thought, right? And we actually went on the track and found the oil and stuff like that. So they're like, look, yeah, you're not bullshitting. Like, it's a circumstance that you shouldn't have been in. So, and because you made the choice that you made, instead of making things worse, you know, in a bad situation, we'll let you do it. Just don't ever tell anybody.
Until now.
Yeah. There's a couple people that I get, dude, sorry, Kev. But, you know, and I tell them all the time, like, look, it's not that the story itself is not bad. Like, I know you went against what the rules usually are. I mean, and let's face it, there's extenuating circumstances in all types of things, especially racing, right? Things that happen on the racetrack, things need to be evaluated constantly. There's no golden rule for anything that happens out there on track. But, he was so ecstatic. And he actually came up, he gave me a spare windshield too, because I could crack my windshield. He's like, hey, I know it's the wrong your GSXR windshield, because he used to run this SV650 with GSXR whatever on it. He's like, but you can zip tie it up. It'll work for the weekend. It'll
I'm
pass
familiar
tech.
with that. Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, am I going to pass tech? And he's like, yeah. No. He goes, it'll pass tech. So he comes over with the certificate and a windscreen for me, which I still have. I kept that windscreen. I still have it, Kev. Still have it. I'll bring it to you the next race around here.
Right. Get you to sign it for me.
Yep. I still have it. I kept that as a kind of a reminder for that forever. But if it wasn't for what those two guys did, and I say it all the time, and I say it to Kevin John, because I want them to know how thankful, right? And if it wasn't for what those guys did, I may not have ever come back, right? I don't know. Like, it was the last licensing opportunity of the year. I was getting in the fall in Wisconsin. Obviously, if I'm not licensed, I can't go race anywhere else for the winter. I might have found another hobby. I might have just decided I sucked. I don't know, right? You have no idea what would have happened after that. But if it wasn't for that at that point in time, what they did, like, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, right? I would have never existed in the club paddock potentially, or much less going to do Moto America stuff. Never would have won races, never would have won a championship. And for anybody that's ever worked on my race team and gotten a paycheck from me, thank those guys, right? None of that would have ever happened, and you get to a point where you're running this team and you're paying salaries and things like that. And there's, not to go too far deep into like the history of program and all that kind of stuff, but there's people in that program that they would not be relevant whatsoever in today's paddock, right? If it wasn't for our program, right? That opportunity may have never come for them, right? It may through somebody else, but it didn't. And it came through us. So for that's just a testimony that I go back to, be like, hey, if anybody's got an ounce of gratitude for anything that Disrupt Racing ever did or didn't do, it goes back to those guys, right? It's not me. It's those guys that went out on a limb and made sure that, I felt at home and I had a place to go, a place to come back to. And we raced that whole weekend and I had a blast. I had an absolute blast, right? And then that goes into, again, just jumping on the road all winter, going down to Florida. Firma had just started up, so me and Tony were down there racing. We were down in Texas. We went with Wira. Shit, I don't even remember. I'm trying to look at one of those trophies. Actually, my very first trophy plaque. I got second place in race with Wira that winter, or winter, spring, whatever it was, sitting up on the wall. But yeah, if it wasn't for them, none of this would have happened. If it wasn't for them doing that, if it wasn't for Tony hollering at me and being like, hey, you're doing a track that you should come racing. If it wasn't for, John and Kevin saying, hey, all right, we're going to let you slide on this one, right? If it wasn't for having the resource knowledge of having Tony with me, right? And then going down to Houston that winter, the first year, meeting Chris, right? Chris was like the first Moto America person that I knew that I ever met. Even that weekend, like I remember I met Dustin Dominguez that weekend. Dustin and I are good friends now. Yep. Dustin, I knew Dustin's racing history, right? Before being a professional racer, stupid fast. Like, guy was faster than shit. Raced on many factory teams, AMA stuff back in the day. He had a really good career. And it's funny because I don't think I ever realized how big Dustin is until that weekend. I mean, you've seen me.
Yeah.
Like, I made you look really small.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Like, Dustin's a big boy.
He is a big boy. Yeah.
And I remember meeting him there, and a couple of guys that we were with met at Houston, they're like, oh, that guy's the fast guy. Him and Dougie Fresh were going at it that weekend, Frenchek.
Yep.
And I went out.
Monkey boy, are you almost done?
Yeah, here in a little bit.
I want to go to the creek.
All right, when I get done, I promise you we'll go to the creek. High five.
How much longer?
an hour. Deal.
Can we make it 59?
That's where this comes.
Make
Yes.
it 57 minutes and 2 seconds.
All right. Deal.
We'll try.
Put
we'll
it on your
try.
phone.
All right.
I'm gonna make a timer, and it's gonna be 57 minutes and 2 seconds.
All right, my man.
Actually, 52.
Let's see what I deal with Jesse on a daily basis right here. Love it. Oh man, but what was saying what you said, yeah, Dustin's big and so is Jake Lewis, right? And always, even though I know him,
Jake's tall.
he's just tall. Yeah, he's not
Shout out
big.
to my
but he's
boy
tall.
Jake.
Yep.
Always repping my jail. Thank you,
Oh,
Jake, for
yeah.
the hats.
Love Jake.
And this ain't just a podcast thing. I wear the shit out of these things every day. Jake's got to send me like 6 a year. I swear I wear them through work. I mean, it's like my favorite hat. Yeah. I don't even wear. I don't even remember the last time I put on like a Disrupt hat or anybody else's hat. It's just jail.
Yeah, dude, he's a legend.
But yeah, meeting like Dustin that weekend, like I just went up to him because everybody's like, oh, I'm like that big motherfucker's going that fast. I'm like, I got no excuse, right? I had a motto that year. If I don't think I ever told Dustin this, but I had a motto that year that we were joking about internally. I'm like, if Dustin's fat ass can do it, my fat ass can do it.
Facts.
Or I'm gonna try.
Right?
I have no excuses though, right?
No.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like meeting him that weekend. He was super nice, friendly, right? And he gave me and Tony, along with Chris, some pointers about the track, where to go. So it was just like real welcoming experience. But if it wasn't for all those people along the way, we never would have gotten to the campfire to be drunk and stupid.
Somebody said you should do it yourself. He was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, and the next morning I'm like, fuck, did I really say I was going to do that? Oh, why?
Now we're all in, baby.
Yeah. Now we got to do something.
And look how it turned out.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an awesome ride. Like as far as the racing side, and doing the Moto America stuff, the championship, win a lot of races. Like there's. It was never like this long-term goal. It's not by accident that we kept the name Disrupt Racing, right? That was the discussion around the campfire, is to disrupt things, right? To try to make an example like, look, anybody can come do this, right? If you're willing to put the work in and you've got a little bit of resources, like you can just keep putting the pieces of the puzzle together and just keep going with it, right? So it was never a choice to be like, hey, we wanted this big race team and we want to go forever and, this legacy thing. Like it was just, we wanted to show up and be an example, right? That was it. We wanted to inspire other people to try to follow it, right? And make, some cultural changes as best we could, whether it be, first year in, paying salaries to riders that weren't riding before. Paying expenses, whatever. Like the model of the gentleman racer thing to me is a real sore spot. Having racers pay you, right, to race on your team, to represent your brand, to pay your salary, right? If you're going to be a team owner, then you should be putting the work in, right? Not charging them and making them work on top of it. And that goes back to, I had a pretty sour experience in the car racing for that. I was driving, had some opportunities with the factory Ferrari sports car team that I got screwed on a lot because I didn't have any money, So, I don't want to go deep into that, but that left a really sour taste for me. I had an opportunity years prior to all this going down where I could have made something out of myself, had a legit opportunity to make something good, racing cars, right? I had the speed, didn't have the money. So that really left a bad taste in my mouth for all those years, and I was I carried that with me, still do, right? Like that situation to me was what was killing racing all across the board. And then as prevalent it is in the car side, everybody knows car side, there's a lot more money though. You get more sponsorship. It's the car side is more difficult, but in some ways it's easier, right? Because, and I think I attribute to this from what I and it's just my personal take. I mean, it could be right, could be totally wrong. I don't know. my personal thing and what I've seen through both sides of it though, is that the car side is easier to find people to race and do because it's men, right? It's grown adults that have careers, that have money, whether it's family money, a company they built, whatever. You don't have to be an 18-year-old kid in a car to go fast. You know, motorcycle racing, I mean, we're dealing with 14-year-old professionals, right? How many 14-year-olds have a job and money and family money or have a career, have the ability to pay you to race on their race team? How many 14-year-olds are, you know, even mentally stable enough to barely be professional racers,
Facts.
right?
Yes, yes.
I mean, so we're dealing with like there's two sides of the spectrum. It's like the same problem is hurting both paddocks as far as for a long time. And it's definitely getting a lot better now. I mean, we've seen this big resurgence over the last couple of years, which has been great. But the biggest difference that I've seen between the two worlds is like you're dealing with men that have resources and you're dealing with kids. You know, like the older you get in motorcycle racing, the worse you're going to be. You know, if I knew years ago what I know now about riding and racing a motorcycle, and if I could have done this when I was 18 years old, who knows? I don't know. That was when I was physically fit, right? But it's just like anything else. At a young age, you're not, you know, you don't have that knowledge base, right? You don't have that experience, just life experience that help you walk through that stuff. So I think that's a challenge that our sport particularly has to face and address somehow. But it's just a different challenge, right? So, you know, we were never that here or there to be this to become an attack program or a, you know, whatever M4, you know, these long legacy programs. Like kudos to those guys for doing it that long. I mean, honestly, I don't know how they do it that long anyways, just on the sanity side of it.
I bet. Yeah.
Like it's like nah, I got a business to run, I got other stuff to do. Like, you know, it's not my gig. It was a hobby. So
Well, you guys accomplished it, showed up kick ass and showed everybody that hey, this is absolutely possible. And kudos to you guys. It was I watched the whole journey, watched it unfold, watched it happen, and yeah, I was screaming, hooping, and hollering the whole time because, you know, like we said earlier, you know, the underdog, so to speak, show up, kick ass, and come home with the championship and say, "Mic drop, bitches, we're out," right? And that's it. Yep, that's it. I love it, dude. I fucking love it. So awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it was all, you know, there's a lot of those. It was an up and down ride, right?
Yeah.
Like anything else in life, but racing seems to magnify this a lot. Is like the highs are high and the lows are low, right? And the further you go into that gambit, it gets magnified more and more and more. So there's some really good times, you know, and there's some really low times. But honestly, like my favorite times were just like hanging out. You know, there's times where you might have had a bad day on track, but everybody kind of coming together and just the hanging out that night, working, putting it back together, people working for a common goal, right? And then the smiles and the laughs, and you know, that to me was why I was there. You know, there was times where I'd just sit there, you know, underneath the canopy, just looking at everybody from the distance, just being like, I just go have a smoke and walk out, you know, turn around and you see this whole setup and all these guys and everybody's having a beer. Nobody else is working because it's like midnight, right? The whole paddock's a ghost town.
Yeah.
But those were the times that like made it worthwhile, right? I mean, we had rough one at Brainerd one time with Jay Farrell on my bike. We had to carry 2 bikes back in buckets because it hit the wall. He had 2 really weird crashes, hit the wall, demolished. I mean, you want to talk about fucked? They were fucked. And we were out of bikes. We had nothing left. And I had, for some reason, brought a Street ZX10. Like, I was going to go for a ride around Brainerd, Minnesota for some reason. And I was sitting behind the trailer. And I think it was one of the twins from the Twin Stunt Group, you know, all the Minnesota boys, because we did all this, you know, Brainerd series, or, you know, all the Minnesota boys, and we do the cross events. So we knew those guys pretty well. I mean, we were legit a half a bottle into whiskey because we were like, we're done. Like our weekend's fucked. Like we're out of bikes. Like this is from like by Friday because we had the tire test Thursday. One of them went there. The other one went Friday in qualifying. Yeah, I was like, yep, our weekend's fucked. We're over. I was legit a half a bottle into whiskey. And the Minnesota boys, I think it was one of the twins, like, we got that street bike out back. Yeah, that was a long night.
You're
Long
like,
night.
light bulb.
Dude,
We do.
And I'm like, well, first I'm like, we do. Do we have enough time to put it together? Is Jason even going to get cleared by medical? Because he had actually broken some ribs when he hit the wall. Like, is he going to get cleared by medical? We don't even know. Are we going to have enough time to put this thing together by tech? Because this is like 7 o'clock at night already. By the way, like I said, we're half a bottle deep. And I'm like, a third off, I'm fucked up. How are we going to build a bike? Like, there's nobody sober in this fucking tent. And it was just a shit show. But we got it. We pulled it off. You know, ended up overall having a pretty good weekend out of it. You know, we had those as the team got bigger. You know, we had those nights with Hayden, right? Where Hayden had a good wreck or blew motor up or something. You know, Jake, you know, all the boys that we had, you know, there was always something. You know, we had a weekend when Dom Doyle was racing Super Sport with me. We popped the motor. I think we had just popped the motor and testing before. But basically, we only had one engine going into that weekend. And so I went and knocked on the M4 door. You know, hey, Chris, got an engine? Well, I got to see what's up there, yada, 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 yada. Well, he had one, so we brought it down. Well, I ended up Chris installed the engine in our bike half the night. With his little head flashlight, you know, half a bottle into whiskey. Sorry, Chris, I ratted you out for working on my bike.
I love it.
But, you know, it was like stuff like that. Like, it's just, those were the cool times, you know. That's the stuff I look back at that is, you know, that's the stuff that made it worthwhile was going out, you know, first off, you know, it's all those conversations drunk around the campfire, just like what we had in 2019 that kind of kicked it all off and put the ball into faster motion, right? It's those nights are countless, right? And they're priceless. Those were the nights that really made it a lot of fun. The business side of it, you know, that does get pretty taxing, right? And that's, you and I have discussed, you know, sidebar, you know, a lot of the history on the stuff that was going down, right? And reasons why ultimately decided to shut down, you know, at the end of the 23 season, you know, made the decision. We had some pretty big things going back and forth, right? For moving into the 24 season, there was going to be a lot of change, like a lot. It was not going to be the same program, like at all. So I knew that those decisions had to get made, and you know, I was already making those decisions. But it got that off season very apparent to me that I'd gotten a really big sponsorship offer, like a really big one. That was really good. And it came down to it's like there were so many hurdles that we kept running into, like just getting some of the stuff put together. And you know, it's like, okay, we're full bore, go. And then it's like, oh, here's a hiccup. Now I gotta stop. So like I was just reading all of that, like kind of like reading the room. It's like, okay, we're facing a lot of these challenges that I don't think I should normally be facing. Something's telling me something, right? Listen to the universe here for a little bit, just slow down. And honestly, it just became like the realization that the only reason I wanted to keep going, I felt like, was because I felt like I was being vindicated financially with receiving a large sum of money that would have actually made it quite profitable. And like recouping all the money that I'd spent over the years, right? Because I mean, our team was funded by my company primarily. You know, I think we got a total of $160,000 worth of sponsorship in our peak, right? So do the math on that, right?
Yeah.
So that, our biggest sponsor and our total sponsorship was like $160,000 in 2023. So I felt like maybe that was kind of like vindication, but then I was like, this is not why I wanted to do this, right? This just isn't I don't want to deal with the drama that was coming with it. I didn't want to deal with. So I said, fuck it. You know, we're done. You know, just shut it down. So, and it was the right choice. You know, it was the right choice. It was the right time. Like I said, we won the championship. We had tied for the championship the year before. You know, we'd gone up against the big boys. You know, at that point in time, even in Superbike and Supersport, I mean, we're going against beating factory teams on a regular. The Stock 1000 program. I mean, you know who we beat.
I know.
Those are big money programs.
Big money
Those are
programs.
big money programs.
Huge.
You know,
People have no idea. Yeah.
Oh, we slapped the shit out them BMWs on on our clapped out old Suzuki platform, right? So I always love people like, the GSXR is not a good bike. I'm like, yeah, I got a record to say otherwise.
Right. You see this championship trophy right here?
See
How you
that?
think I got it?
Right
That's
there.
it right there. You
Right
see
there.
it? That GSXR all day.
Yeah. I got
love it.
the bike right in front of my desk.
No, I've seen pictures of it. It's awesome. You did? Wouldn't you think about selling that at one time?
The super bike.
Okay, yeah, that was it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the super bike's for sale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what do I need a super bike for?
No, it's an awesome trophy bike for sure.
I mean, sat in my living room for years now. It's just sitting over in my toy shop.
So listen,
piece.
It's an awesome story, Jesse. You know, that whole disrupt. Like I keep saying it because it was you guys showed up unexpectedly. Nobody even. They're like, yeah, okay. Didn't take you guys serious, and like you said, whooping everybody's ass, big money ass, right? And
But just a bunch of boys, right?
That's
just a
it,
bunch of boys having fun.
That's it. And
That was
then you know, so yeah, what a journey, what a story. Now let's fast forward to 2025 with this whole thing with Azra. How did all that come about?
Yeah. So, as I'm sure a lot of y'all watch and probably know, so I'm new race director. We're at ASRA. Like to first off shout out to Alex. So, Alex, I have to say, bottom of my heart, from what CCS Azra was a couple of years ago, towards the end of the last era, which we kind of all know that Kevin Elliott passed away and things like that, and times were not that great. Alex, he took the risk, right? And he's dumped a lot of time and resource into this. And I'm so thankful that he did that. I actually tried to make a play years ago to buy CCS. There was just a lot of, before we went disrupt racing, and all that kind of stuff. I had actually looked in, I was talking to Kevin about buying it out just to try to make some changes, right? And I am happy that I didn't do it, especially now, because Alex has done a way better job than I could have done. He's got a lot more resources, a lot more behind him. So kudos to him for doing that, because it's really cool what's going on over there. It's really cool. And being away for a couple of years and doing all the One America stuff, and then 2024, I was just completely out of everything, right? I just took the year off, went jet skiing, and bought a vacation house and another summer, nice little sports car.
Which is badass, by the way.
Just doing some other stuff. It was great to have the year off, and this year I had planned on going back club racing. I just wanted to go back club racing. Josh is going to go back with Snoop, and we had talked about. I was like, I'm going to come racing. I'm going to come back. I don't care. I'll do Formula 40. At this point, let's face it, I'm never going to win another race. Who am I going to? It's not like I'm going to be beating Tony and Farrell and all these other, Jake Jansen's, just the Midwest boys, right? And not to mention all the other regional boys out there that kick the shit out of me. I was just like, I'll do some Formula 40 shit, just have fun. I just want to come back club racing, right? Because that's home.
Yeah.
That's where it all started. That's where I wanted to get back to. And, then I had heard about the race director position was changing here. I wasn't really in the mix in any of those conversations at all. And quite frankly, I wanted to stay out of them. I really didn't see myself in this position or think much of it. I just figured there's probably a lot of other candidates that are a lot more qualified than myself, and to let them take and run with it. So the conversation with Alex came kind of late. Honestly, it was kind of almost a game time decision, right? Somebody was talking to me about it. Jay Farrell had contacted me, asking if I was interested. He had talked to Alex, back and forth, yada, yada, yada. a couple of the other guys that I thought would have been better candidates, declined either for scheduling, all types of myriad of reasons. And ultimately, I think it just kind of came together where the timing was, I knew some of their other options that they were speaking to, and I knew those would be really bad choices for the series because I just know the history. And so I said, all right, we'll talk, and I think it was like the next day we just agreed, like, yeah, like let's roll, and for me, I wasn't that interested in it because I hadn't been around for so long. I be honest with you, I hadn't been to a club race, an ASRA race since Alex had taken over 3 years ago. So I hadn't been back. I think might have gone to. I went to one event in 2022 just as a spectator to the charity auction, and that was just more so I could get drunk and buy stupid shit. I think I paid $900 for a carrot cake that day, which we have the Red Flag Fund auction in August, by the way. I'm just going to throw a shout out for that. Please make that carrot cake again, because that's like the one thing I show up to that auction for. I don't even know who makes it, honestly. It's somebody's wife somewhere, something, somebody's, I don't know, but they make like 30 pounds of carrot cake. I'll send you a picture.
Yeah.
Love it. Just smashing, two-fisted. There's a bottle of whiskey in front of you. Just,
love it.
It's so, but I hadn't been doing events for so long, so I didn't really know how things have been running there. I knew there'd been a lot of changeover, a lot of moving pieces, things like that going. But I was kind of concerned. Just first thought, I didn't know Alex. I didn't know who he was. I'm like, okay, what's the state of the financial status of what's the long-term goal here? Why are you doing this? Right? Why did you buy it? Or why did you take over? Why are you doing this? And our first call right away, it was awesome because it was just a frank conversation. He's just no bullshit, just no filter, no BS. We were kind of shooting all over the place, but it's like his goals really lined up with what and the whys, right? The why, like this isn't a career thing for him. It's a hobby, just like what I was doing with the race team. Even if I years ago would have bought CCS and done anything with it, it would have been a hobby, right? And again, I don't have the amount of resources that he has, so I'm thankful that he's the one who did it. And now I'm lucky enough to be involved with it anyways. So it kind of worked out. But going back to getting back to the club thing, and like this really is like it's become this huge refreshment of what racing is, and especially on the club level, because our whole entire first conversation was basically circled around what can we do to make this better for the paddock, right? What needs to happen to make it better for the riders? What needs to happen to give them resources? What needs to happen to make it fun for them, right? Because we all know, racing over the years has been declining. Club attendance is pretty abysmal in all types of different regions, all types of different clubs all over the country. And the goal, the common theme that we had was like fun, right? Make it fun, make it cool. So I was really happy with his agenda and his goals, right? So we just kind of took it from there and been running with it. Went down to CMP that first weekend, worked with him there. Our next I don't remember, the Jersey this weekend.
I think so. Or next
Jersey?
weekend.
Yeah, ASRA is at Jersey.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can't even keep track of the schedule anymore. Like, luckily, I'm not running all the races.
So let me ask you this. What's your mission with Azure? Like what is your goals and your vision for the future of the club racing organization with them?
As for my vision and where I'm at, and like at Alex's personal vision, and like just everybody as a whole that is pretty much involved in this, it's going back to grassroots and having fun, right? It's giving back to the racing community. Alex is an ex-racer just like myself. We've been it, we lived it, we saw it, we were there, through all the dark times, seeing all the mistakes that have been made through all these different series and all these different club events and things like that. We're basically like throwing spaghetti at a wall over here. Like our motto is like, if somebody else isn't doing it, we want to try it. Like, we don't care what it is. Like, we're just like, oh, if it sticks, it sticks. Cool. Like, because we're not afraid to try anything. That's what's super cool about it. Yeah. Is like you basically can do anything. Like, we can do anything. If somebody comes up with an idea, we're like, pros and cons. If pros outweigh the cons, let's roll.
Let's make it happen.
Like, let's do it, because it's about giving it back to the community. It's about those awesome nights hanging out right around the campfires, right? And I think I've mentioned it to you, but it's something that I say to everybody is like this: what is Azra? What are we? I'm like, look, we're club racing, right? We are the home for the not yets, the never will be's, and the has beens, you know. And
That,
I love it.
yeah.
Like it's back to grassroots. It's back to having fun without all the politics, without all the stress, without all the, you know. And we're here to help the not yets. You know, we got a lot of kids coming up, dude. I see talent all the time. This throughout all these years that have been involved with it, like I cannot even quantify how much talent I've seen wasted, right? Because they just don't have the money, don't have the resources to show, whatever the case may be. There's all these things that, as you know, limit people's ability and how far they're going to go in racing, because racing is expensive. And it takes a lot of resources. Going back to the team thing I mentioned, how like the further you get, you understand, you know, having teammates to get data off of, having a data guy, having a crew chief, just so you can actually think about racing and thinking about what you're doing during these turnaround times. There's so much talent though that I've seen go to complete waste because they don't have somebody to support them. You know, like I always say, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd be broke by Sunday, because they'd probably just sponsor any known like undiscovered talent that I could think of. Be like, yep, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy. Cool, I'm broke.
Let's go.
Yep, somebody borrow me $20.
Right. I need to buy a 6-pack of beer, baby. Let's go.
I need a pack of smokes. But like there's so much talent that goes out there that is just sitting at home on the couch, right? Go back to the whole Disrupt Racing program. You know, Hayden Gilman, he was working at a concrete plant when I called him, right? Guy's an amazing talent, awesome dude. Like, love the guy to death. Like, why? For me, I was like, I actually have an opportunity to hire this guy. Like, no
Right.
fucking way. Like,
Right.
dude. Like,
Let's
come
go.
on.
Let's go. Right.
Why the fuck is he not on somebody else's program? Why the fuck? Who's stupid enough to not let him race? You know. But it happens all the time. I mean, we see it up and down the paddock, even in the professional side, right? Guys without homes, guys that are in a home program one year, they're gone the next year, this, that, the other thing. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. But at the end of the day, it's because we just don't have enough teams, right? So, but anyways, going back to the Azra thing, you know, it's really just kind of a coming home, right? And that was something that I'm really enjoying and cherishing, and the opportunity to work. We got an amazing group of people behind this, you know, even all the different various regions, the people that are, you know, from the people that work in the gate to up in timing, scoring, or the grid marshals, tech guys. I mean, everywhere in between. It's literally just a bunch of people that we're all racers, ex-racers. Like we just want to make it work, right? So it's a really good atmosphere, and we're really enjoying it. I mean, we're banging right now. I mean,
Oh yeah.
dude, were you? I mean, you're probably there because I know you've been to a couple of events. I mean, we've had to shut off registration and close gates at some of these events because it's just too much.
The last Azra event I went to was VIR a couple weekends ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like 3 weekends ago, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're banging, right? And everybody's having fun, which is cool. We're doing the cookouts every week. We've always got something going on. We're always working on something, right? We want to do something. Like, we're not taking your registration money and paying our mortgages. You know, we're taking your registration money, or we're taking your gate fees, and we're putting it in the cookouts. We're putting it into, you know, making improvements wherever we can. I mean, hell, I was out myself with Gabriel Da Silva and one of my employees at Blackhawk Farms painting fucking curbing.
I remember
Right,
you
because the
telling
track
me
didn't
that.
want to
Yeah.
do it, so we're like, "Fuck it, we'll
Fuck
pay
it,
for
let's
it."
go. Grab
Like-
that bottle of whiskey and them gallons of paint, fellas.
Yep.
Let's go.
Like, hey, you guys, come on, let's grab some paint rollers, and literally just walk the whole entire track for a whole entire day, just with rollers and paint, just painting everything, right? Because you know, and it's just a simple example because all the painting on the curbs is worn out, and it was hard. And the curves there can get really nasty, you know, in the wrong spots. They'll really mess you up. So if you can't see them at speed from a distance, and just stupid little things.
Here comes this guy again. I knew it, Jesse. All right, listen, just give me a few more times.
That was 22, not
Yeah,
57.
dude, it was only 22 minutes, man. You're lacking.
52.
He's a trickster, bro. He's always trying to. He's a trickster.
It's been 52. How do you know?
Because we see the time. It's right there.
You start when I came in here. It was only 30 minutes.
No, it was not.
It was, and now it's I let you do it for another hour.
All right, I'll be done here in a little bit. Okay, we'll go to the creek.
1:40.
It's always,
1:40.
dude, Jesse. This is a daily thing, right?
Please.
Listen, we'll go. Let me go to 4:00, and we'll go.
No.
It's only 30 minutes from now.
You said go till 4:00.
Yeah, it's only 30 minutes from now, and then we'll go to the creek. Okay, go ahead and change and get your bathing suit on and get
You're
2 towels,
gay, man.
bro.
You like gay.
You guys need any help down there at Azra? He would be right there. Yeah, he
Put
can
him
paint
to work.
curbs and all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
So
you're real tired out.
facts. You spoke earlier about taking a year off in between and wanting to get back into club racing. For you, was that a good way to disconnect from the sport to become a fan again?
Yeah, I mean, it really was like that. You know,
Good
I was able to watch more racing just as a whole, different, attend some different events, and again, just kind of disconnect and get back to the center of being a fan, right? Because that was something that I was definitely losing from running the team and the program and stuff like that. And that's something that if I'm losing the reason why I'm doing it, then why do it, right? Why be involved in anything? Why even race myself? Because honestly, I didn't even have much feel for going back to the track to ride. I went and did one track day last year. And
You're nasty. You're nasty.
Oh my god. Anyway, don't worry, I can edit all this out. I'll edit it all out.
Nasty. Why you're so nasty?
Dude, you're hilarious. Everybody's probably laughing. Oh my god. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
You gotta unplug your headset when you're not watching.
You can't unplug it from here. You gotta plug it from my mic.
Frick!
You remember these days, don't you, Jesse?
Oh, no,
Oh, yeah.
that was pulling on it.
yeah, I'm glad they're over too.
And I'll come in
They're-
here.
they are behind me.
me.
It goes by so quick, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It really does.
All
All right, Rossi, give me 30 more
Uh,
minutes of us talking, and we'll go down to the creek, okay? Or just sit right here and be quiet. That's fine too. Aren't you? Did your kids? Well, this was before Fortnite, so he's in the roadblocks of Fortnite and all that.
Oh, I've been
Snazzy
playing the hell out
jazz.
of Fortnite. I just discovered Fortnite.
Did you, dude? Jesse plays Fortnite.
Add me. We can play Fortnite.
There you
But I
go.
don't have a microphone because I need a headset that actually works. Can you give me one?
What you looking at me for?
Can you buy
What am
one?
I? Your walking bank?
No, I'm just asking. Can I do chores for a
You're
new
laughing because
headset?
we know it's true.
Can I get
Yeah,
like
right.
an Xbox brand headset?
Yes, Rossi. Can I finish this, please? Thank you.
Yeah,
I love
Turtle
you.
Beach.
Yeah.
Turtle. Exactly, Turtle Beaches.
What?
Yeah.
Turtle Beach headsets are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I actually just started playing that. I was in a Call of Duty a long time years ago, right? And I've always been kind of big online playing games and stuff.
Yeah.
So going back to like the year off, like I spent a lot of my time playing Call of Duty.
Man, I play video
Man.
games.
Oh, dude, it's great, man.
It
Honestly,
is.
all the guys that I play with, I don't even know these guys. Most of them live on West Coast. We
Burn
just
me.
like met online and claned up years and years and years ago. And then even through like the racing world, there's guys that I play with Call of Duty and such online from overseas that I'm not going to say names because they might get embarrassed, but they're big names that you would know.
Man, it's video
Probably.
games is a good way to disconnect from the world in general, right? And like we always say, have fun with it. I got a good
Yeah, but they
buddy
ruined it now.
that dude.
It's this DEI shit, this skill-based matchmaking. Come on.
It's
That's
garbage.
that's why Call of Duty
What
now is
is?
getting killed.
Yeah,
Like you're getting penalized for being good. It's frustrating.
What is
it
garbage?
is. I got a good buddy, Jack Hammersley. He's the 2-time Moto E World Champion, the video game. You know how MotoGP's got the World Champion video game, and yeah, he's
Dude, that game's impossible.
bro. It's so
Have you
hard to
played that
play.
thing?
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh,
man.
you can't. I don't know I don't know how anybody can play that MotoGP game.
It's tough.
You almost need to do it on a sim. You have to build a sim for it.
Yeah, I like. I've been playing the shit out of Ride 5. I really dig in Ride 5, Ride 4. Of course, I do like the Assassin's Creed and there's various games. Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, yeah, I like games like that. So.
Oh, remember the original Bond 007
Bro.
back in the day? Thank God, what was for the life of me? Doom.
Yes.
Oh,
I was a
God.
nerd for Doom.
That was. How did parents even let us play that as kids?
Because we do the same thing. Like, I just need some peace for a minute. Go play your video game so we can do our thing for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever the case may be, and then we'll come back. Yeah, we're good.
That's like Doom's like you're fighting Nazis and aliens and weirdo creature things, and yeah, it was gnarly though. That's the OG right there.
It is the OG, man.
Yeah.
It is. So yes, we are video game nerds, 110%.
Oh yeah.
Man, I think it's wonderful what you guys are doing with Azra and the whole club scene. It's about time we have a good refresh, breath of fresh air in the club scene. It's only going to grow from here. And if there's anything I can do to help you guys out too, please let me know. Don't hesitate. I'll put it out there on social media to obviously talk about it on the podcast. And
I mean, that's the thing is just bringing awareness to it, right? And talking about it and having fun. Like I'm sure anybody's seen and been on social media lately. The videos, the marketing stuff, like we're doing the fun stuff again, right? We're doing, we've talked about, even like doing the straight podcast stuff with out of the paddocks and just giving these guys like some rep time, right? Like it's a breath of fresh air. It really is. And it's a lot of fun. We're having a blast, dude. I mean, we're making moves. Like I said, we're not afraid to make moves. We're going to do it. I'll share, I guess, something here for the first time. Just here's like an example, how we're doing things this with ASRA and working with Alex and going back to it's just really refreshing that we're able to just make decisions and do them, right? We're not super, super worried about like the financial repercussions of it. Like, first off, we're stupid busy. I mean, I don't know how many organizations right now are being profitable in racing, but we are. You're right. We're doing it. So obviously it's working somehow and people are having fun. But the point is we're taking that and reinvesting it. We're taking every opportunity to take every bit of that and reinvest it into the experience, into the paddock, give these guys something to come back for. I don't know. I guess I'll just go ahead and say it on here since people are watching or whatever, but we Midwest in particular, we've set some goals out there for people. Be like, hey, we need to grow the region. We just need to show some growth because the decline in this region in particular was getting pretty bad, and it's coming up, and we're seeing a good uptick. But we were 30% growth over our last event over the same event last year. 30%. No matter which way you cut it, 30% is a big chunk of growth.
That's huge.
And I'll say this to all the Midwest boys: thank you for coming out. Keep them coming. The licensing schools are getting packed. The test and tunes are getting busy. I mean, we've got fan attendance coming. Like the paddock is fun, right? It's a lot of fun. So, hey guys, I appreciate it. Here's your reward. I'll tell you right now. Very next day after that event, we booked Road America for next year. There you go.
That is awesome.
Midwest boys, we're going back to Road America. That's first time.
Congratulations.
20. That's 5 years. There hasn't been club racing there in 5 years.
That's huge.
Yeah. So I mean, we're like, fuck it, do it. We had 30% growth over one event, and we're like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's just
big time.
And that's just a small example. Like, we got a lot of really cool things for 2026 we're looking at doing. So, but that's just a small example. Like, look, you guys showed up. We made the promise. We said, hey, if you guys show up and you're gonna continue to show up and we're gonna grow, then we're gonna grow, right? And it's no bullshit. It's we're keeping our end of the deal. Like, we're here for the paddock. We're here for the racers. Who doesn't want to race Road America? Like,
right?
dude,
Who don't?
are you gonna come race it?
Yeah, absolutely. Eat some cheese curls and some spotted cow. I'm in.
Yeah,
Sign
I mean,
me up.
shit, I might have to race it. I'm the race director, and I might have to take at least a Formula 40 off or something,
Right?
right? Just hope I don't crash and do something stupid.
That's awesome.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just an example of where our goals are at and what we're moving forward to. So it is super exciting to kind of be a part of, again, the kick up of the grassroots, because racing is a very unique sport. You know, motorcycle road racing is a very unique sport. And it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of potential there, right? And this, like, keeping it homegrown too. Like, we want to give these guys opportunities to be at these big professional tracks. You know, like I said, we're working on things for 2026. We're gonna make this Road America thing small, right? Like, we're doing so many different things. You know, we've got the Ozarks Fest going on in September down at the Ozarks Raceway, which is an amazing track. Like, you guys want to talk about something gnarly? That place is amazing, right? And you know, I know, like, a lot of people look at the Ozark thing because the original videos that came out, everybody saw all the Armco barrier, and they see videos of the cars on track and the cement walls, but that's not the configuration that we run. First off, second off, the track ownership has just been superbly amazing to work with. Like, the first time that Alex went there, basically was like, change this, change that, move that wall, move this, do this. We can put air fence here, yada 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 yada. Track owner writes a check, has contractors there the next day.
Why?
Like, it's awesome to see a super enthusiast running a racetrack, right? So, like, that's just an event like that. Daytona, we're gonna amp up Daytona quite a bit. Race of Champions for this year, and I guess I already said something about Road America for next year. That is on the books, but I got a phone call after this to try to get something else really bitching done. So
Good. So that means that we are definitely going to sit down for part 2 of this and many more. 110%. Dude, Jesse, this has been a lot of fun, bro. This has been eye-opening, and your whole journey into racing and everything you accomplished in that short period of time is absolutely, as I always say, proper mega.
No, appreciate it. It's not just me, like I said. There's a huge list of guys.
It is.
That are all responsible for that. You know?
It takes a village, right?
Yeah.
Everybody hears that saying, so it really does. Yeah, dude, there's just so much more that dude I want to ask you and talk about. So we'll save that for part 2. I do want to transition into the part of the podcast where we get to know Jesse away from the track and away from all that stuff, right? So the first question I want to ask you, Jesse, is tell us.
Is there another version of it? I feel like there's not anymore. Well, I think we pretty much covered it. I'm at a racetrack or playing Call of Duty or Fortnite,
right? Or driving badass cars.
I mean, that's pretty much about it.
Yeah, you know, right.
We you know, like, taking the year off. Like I said, we bought it. Was able to get a nice little vacation home down south, and you know, so I get to spend the winters nice and warm. But I'm doing the same thing there. I'm just pretty much playing Call of Duty.
Love it. Okay,
in a little bit warmer weather.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PS5.
Yeah, that's what I got.
100%.
Yeah, my son's got the Xbox. I got the PS5. So
yeah,
I'm with you on that. Are you a coffee
picked
drinker?
up the new PS5 Pro.
Oh, did you really?
Oh yeah.
Is there a big difference between that and a regular?
With some of them, yeah. Not all the games are running the what are they? I don't even remember what they're calling it. That new high def frequency.
Oh yeah.
And then of course you got to have the TV.
The TV, yeah, right. And the cable, and
oh yeah. I mean, I got it all. It's all set up. I mean, you can ask anybody who's ever stepped foot in my house. You hear me yelling and screaming at something.
Love it.
Headphones on. Fucking leg, this, that. Yeah, no. So, just got the PS5 Pro, upgraded that. We got the upgraded TV with the new LG, whatever series, stupid gamer TV.
Yep.
You know, the fancy cables.
We're all still kids right here at the end of the day, right? It's yeah.
Pretty much.
It helps keep me young. I know that for sure. What's your worst habit?
Probably smoking.
Yeah.
Probably. That's what most people would probably say.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it. So,
I'm gonna keep doing it, right? Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm not a quitter.
Oh my God. Isla, are you an audiobook listener or do you read books or?
Audiobooks. I don't really read a lot. I don't have a lot of time to read a lot, but I do a lot of driving and traveling. So listen to a bit of audiobooks, podcasts. So yeah.
What's your you got any books or podcasts you can recommend to people?
Uh I'm kind of all over the board, honestly. Like some of it's motorsports, or actually not a lot. Most of it's just random.
Yeah.
I've been on just probably like a lot of other people, the Sean Ryan stuff.
Yeah.
I find a lot of that really fascinating. Rogan's always good. I just listened the other day. I was on the road. Listened to the Bernie Sanders Rogan one.
Yeah.
Talk about interesting. There's some good comedians out there, and I'm sorry, I'm horrible with names, but I forget the one that Kreischer does.
Bert Kreischer. Yeah.
Yeah, what's
something cave.
yeah.
Yeah.
That one's pretty funny. So I'm just kind of all over the board. It's like whatever pops up where I find that day or somebody sends me, right? It's all over. The audiobooks usually somehow always ends up in like a murder mystery audiobook because those seem fun, more fun while you're traveling and driving 8-10 hours, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm spicy food. Are you a spicy food guy?
Ooh, I am. I like spicy food. There's other parts of me that don't.
Like say that for me too, right? Yeah. Like
Yeah, it depends. It depends what kind of spicy. Like certain things some people think are extremely spicy. I don't know. Like peppers are different than other types of spices, right? So I mean, yeah, I'm not eating any ghost pepper, but I'll sure eat the hell out of some wasabi with my sushi.
Right. Yeah. So I did a challenge with my buddy so he could eat the biggest spoonful of wasabi. I won, needless to say, but it was not fun. Not fun at all. So yeah. Dude, if you had your own private island, what's the one track you'd have on it?
God, I don't know. That's tough. I mean, there's so many tracks I haven't even been to. So how do you say?
Mine would be Caldwell Park.
Oh, Caldwell,
yeah.
Like I want to say Road America because it is my favorite, but it's also my favorite because of the fan experience and the access, right?
Yeah.
Favorite track. Oof. That is tough. I might have to circle back to that one.
All right.
Might have to circle back. Yeah, that's hard to answer. It'd probably be a combination of a lot of different ones.
That works
like
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like I would just design my own. I would just take all the cool sections out of like 6 different tracks and merge them all together somehow.
What advice would you give to your younger self knowing what you know now?
Oh shit. Find a different hobby.
Oh my God.
Find a different hobby. I don't know. Probably just more about like identifying pitfalls, right? Just being more discerning of your surroundings and maybe I don't like to say maybe a little less trusting, I guess, if you will, but just being able to identify, there's a lot of agendas out there, right? And specifically getting involved with racing and sports and things like that. And whenever there's money involved, there's politics involved. And when there's politics involved, there's agendas involved. So a lot of it, I guess, would just be to, be a little bit smarter, right? Slow down a little bit. Slow down and analyze a little bit more and act a little slower.
I'm gonna type my
What are you currently binge watching anything on TV you can recommend to people?
Oh, not really.
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titans, Rossi said.
Yes, everybody watch it on.
You can watch I'm so far behind the curve though with television. Okay, so my television programming usually consists of South Park, Family Guy, Oak Island.
I love it, dude. That's what South Park's the shit.
South
How do you
Park's
watch it? Where do you
fucking
watch it?
hilarious.
South Park is awesome.
Where do you watch it?
Just
Watch
TV.
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 Just go in there and put in South Park.
On what?
I still got direct. I still have satellite. I'm still.
On what
You
I-
app?
really, Jesse?
Well,
On
yeah,
what
because
app on
if
the
I'm
TV?
streaming
Huh?
messes up your bandwidth for gaming. I can't have people streaming at home.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. What?
What app on the TV?
On what app? I don't know. They might be showing it on Netflix.
No, they don't.
Well, go look at Amazon. We got Amazon. Go out there and Google.
What if I have to buy it?
You ain't got to buy it. It's free. What is wrong with you, bro? Bro.
Remember to put the thing in your mouth.
Yes, I do remember. I was in here one time. He comes in here and just shoves something in my mouth. I was like, what are you doing? Yeah, kids. Freaking awesome.
Yeah,
this
Oak
is-
Island. We binge watched that like mad, and then but I'm on my TV stuff because like I really don't spend a lot of time watching TV. It's usually like at night before bed. But
Yeah.
Yellowstone, I just went crazy on a Yellowstone thing.
Great series.
And then I got into Mobland right now. That one's really good, but I'm probably like 4 episodes behind on that. So I might binge that this weekend to get caught up. I think I got through season 1 of Yellowstone, so I'm way behind on that. And shit, what's that other one? Billy Bob's in it. Billy Bob Thornton,
oh,
right? Is that the Oil Man?
yeah.
That one's good. I binged the whole series, the first season in one day. That one's good.
I love series like that. It catches you. You're like, just one more episode, just one more
Oh, yeah.
episode. And you're like, dude,
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
sitting here for 9 hours.
It's hard for me to get into TV shows. Like I said, just
Yeah.
following them and trying to be religious about them. Like I think the last time I was really into a TV show was probably Sons of Anarchy.
That was a great.
That was a good one.
And Breaking Bad too. I was like that.
I
with
didn't get
Breaking
into
Bad.
that one because they're
Oh,
kind of
man,
running.
I did.
I only ever have time for one.
Yeah.
So when people are like, "Oh, did you watch this? Did you watch that?" and I'm like, "No, I'm 8 years behind you because I just do one a year."
Fallout was really good too. Based on the video game. It's on Prime, Amazon Prime. Yeah, it's good.
No, I haven't seen that. And I very rarely get on like Netflix or any of those streamers. Like I said, it's few and far between. They got to have that bandwidth.
I feel you on that, right? Yes, I feel you on that, Jesse.
We have
let
at home.
me ask you this: what changes would you like to see in our sport to help it grow right now?
Education. Really, we need education. We need, like I said, we're the place of the not yets, the never will be's, and the has beens. The not yets, they need all the has beens they can to give them that info, right? To give them that education. And the never will be guys, they're just the guys that were going to be club racers forever and have fun. We're never going to go pro, but we're part of the thing, and those guys love to have around too. But it's education, it's wisdom, and one thing that I'd like to see, I forget who I was just speaking with about this. Oh hell, it was a big name that I was just talking to. I can't remember who it was. But anyways, we need more guys to stay around. You look at all other types of sports, right? You look at NFL guys. Well, they become announcers, they become assistant coaches, they become whatever. NBA guys, same thing. All these guys, they retire and they're part of the promoting, or they're part of the solution, right? They stay part of the solution. In car racing, they're all still around, right? Nobody really leaves. Motorcycle racing, in road racing, where is everybody? Right?
Yeah,
like,
no, you're
even
right.
on dirt side, like you still have the greats are still great, right? And they're still around, they're still involved in stuff. Either they're running a team, or they're working with a manufacturer that's putting together a team, or they're announcing, or they're something, or even being agents, whatever the case may be. Why is it that road racing people just disappear? Where are they? I mean, we're the guys that just retired 2 years ago. Think about all the guys that just retired in the last 5-10 years. Where are they?
Sounds like we need to come up with another TV. Where are they now?
Yeah,
And
where
road
are they?
racing.
Like legit. Like,
Yeah.
where are these guys? I don't understand it.
I don't either.
And in the States here, in Europe, it's a much better job. They do a much better job. I mean, and you still got guys, Colin Edwards does his camp and all that kind of stuff. But like, dude, I'd love to see Colin involved with, or somebody of that. Right now, it's really what it's Wayne Rainey. Like he's really the only one that, I mean, Hopper's involved with more stuff, and they're coming around some of the older guys, right? But where's the rest of them from the last that between the guys that retired 30, 40 years ago? Why are they like the only ones really involved in much anymore, right? So where is everybody? Where are they? And a lot of that it's a money thing, right? These guys are, they're going to work at concrete plants, right? Or going to work at being roofers. And I mean, dude, I know like 6 pro racers right now that have retired in the last couple of years, and they're doing residential roofing, right? Just to make ends meet. But we need a better structure for it, right? We need a structure for them to stay around, which means we need to have resources for them to be around. We need to have money. We need to have sponsorship. And ultimately, yeah, it comes down to a lot of money needs to be spent for that. But there's so much wasted knowledge and wasted experience, I think, that could really be utilized, and we need, I mean, you think about it, and it's not just racers, man. We need crew chiefs, right? We need data guys. We need engineers. How many guys can run a superbike in this country? Like effectively, how many people in the United States can effectively run a superbike electronics package and make it a winning capable machine?
Probably less than 10.
Oh yeah. I mean,
sure.
there's more than 10 that can. How many are actually doing it? Or
Yeah.
like they're not retired or phased out? 5 or 6. That's a legit number. 5 or 6. So what do we get to? We get to a point where just nobody knows how to do it, and nobody knows how to do this stuff anymore. So we all suck. So we're back to a level playing field, or do you just keep grooming 5 guys to stay in, so 5 teams can dominate, right? But like that's another example of like where are they? We just need more resources.
Yeah.
The car racing is, like I said, that's another thing that's totally different. And again, that's a result because there is more money and people that are there have careers and they've been around for a long time and all that. But yeah, we need to keep people, right? Instead of just letting them go off into the wilderness, we need to keep them around, And even with ASRA, that's something. Dude, I've been talking to all these old timers. Like, come back club racing. I know it's not pro racing. It's not supposed to be. You retired for a reason. You quit for a reason. Come back. Have fun. Have fun. Be an example for the other guys, right? Show them how to have fun. Show them how to make it right. How to do it right. And who knows? They might even hire you to be a coach. They might hire you become a crew chief, become a this, become a that. Dude, there's so many good racers out there that could turn and be really good crew chiefs, but they're just not around. So it's a lost skill, right? It's like how many people that can tune a carburetor these days.
Yeah, people are like, "What the hell is a carburetor?"
Yeah,
like,
half the people on the show, like, carburetor.
Right? What the fuck is that? Yeah,
Playoffs.
What are you talking about?
Carburetor?
Yeah. What the fuck's a main jet and a power jet? What?
Yeah, what?
Fuel mixture screw? What the fuck is that? Yeah.
What the hell's a needle? A float?
In the E-clip? What do you mean there's an adjustment?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lost skill and a lot of lost talent, right? That's floating out there,
100%.
and they're just floating lost, right? I don't know. Like I said, here at ASRA, dude, I'd love to make them home. Like, give them a home, give them a place, right? There's programs that we're working on that try, like, we're working on a rider academy for next year to open up through ASRA. Awesome. And hey, if you guys are listening, you old timers out there, we'd love to have you involved. No matter how big and how small, it's going to be an educational process that we want to do through this Riders Academy to teach the up and comers, right? And what to expect and how to adapt and educate. So, yeah, I mean, in my mind, I think that's the number one thing that needs to get changed, because that's only going to breed better competition.
Yeah, I agree. I beat myself up over it all the time, trying to come up with ways to, grow the sport. And
yeah, I think that's the number one thing. It's retaining what you have and using that as a foundation to grow on it and making it fun.
Yep.
Like, that's it. Yep. I mean, if you can do those 2 things, you're going to be locked in forever. right? Because it's a great sport.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
sport. I know a good buddy of mine, Jeff May. I know you know who Jeff May is. He's trying to
Mhm.
come back and make a comeback into racing. And I said that we said this earlier. Like, I don't see how he. It's so hard for him to come back and get a ride. His caliber rider and what he's done for the sport. We had a nice 45-minute conversation about it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
yeah,
it's tough.
man. It really is.
Mhm.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I don't do karaoke.
You don't do karaoke?
Tequila.
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 Okay. Gotcha.
That's it.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Do you
I
have
just
any?
sang the whole song for you right there.
You did, and I loved it. And it's a good thing I recorded it. Now the world's gonna hear it too. I
Yep.
love it. That's awesome. Do you have any hidden talents we don't know about?
Well, if I told you, they wouldn't be hidden.
That's a great answer. That's the way to, yeah. I like that. You first time that ever said that. Yeah, I love it. It wouldn't be yeah. Well, it's
There's a few.
hilarious.
There's more than a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
more than a few, but we leave those
for next time for sure.
maybe.
What's on your bucket list? Do you have anything in the future you want to do for bucket list wise?
God, I don't know. I never thought I would be doing. Well, first off, I never thought I'd live this long. And legitimately. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, going back to kind of my upbringing, right? Like, I quite frankly didn't really think I'd make it this long. So it was from the beginning. It was like a, live hard kind of philosophy, right? Like, I've always kind of gone and done what I wanted to do, right? Like, you just find a way to do it. Like, if you want to achieve something, you go do it. I really don't know.
Mine's the TT. I want to go the Isle of Man TT.
That'd be fun. I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff I think that I definitely haven't done, but I don't know. I've gone so many places, done so many things, and a lot of which I owe to the sport, right? Like, overall, the sport of racing. Yeah, I've done. I guess I never really think about it because I've done so much cool stuff. And honestly, and in my own fault, like a lot of the stuff I do, I don't think is that cool. Like, it's just become part of the life,
The daily routine. Yeah.
right? Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
like you go, like I have no problem going up and talking to a celebrity type or anything like that because it's just a dude, right? It's just a dude or a chick. Like, it don't matter, right? It's just a person. And I've always kind of taken that approach, right? Like, nothing. There's really nothing that's you can't do. You just got to decide to do it and figure out how it needs to be done and then go execute. So I don't have a lot, I guess, on my bucket list. Flying in a fighter jet, that would be about the only thing I could think of. And that was my original career path, FYI.
I love it.
And I blew my knee out, got hurt, and couldn't recover off that. And then something else happened. Leave that. My daughter happened. I'm a little medical leave there, trying to rehab. But yeah, that's like the only thing that I ever wanted to do that I never did yet. Like, the only thing I really truly wanted to do. So, and grid up in a professional race. That'd be about it. Like, and I go back and forth. Like, I know I could go. There's places I could qualify at for sure.
100%.
I'm just that old fat guy. I don't want to be in somebody's way.
You won't be in somebody's, and you got the bike already right there in front of you.
I'm
to
gonna
do
be
it
in
on.
somebody's way.
He said, "I'm gonna be in
For
somebody's way."
For sure. In fact, I know so much I'm gonna be in somebody's way that I'll have to make it a personal point to be in somebody's way, just to get it out of the way.
Right, just to get it out of the way. Okay,
I'm gonna
I'm
be
done.
in your way. I'm gonna have to be in your way just to get it out of the way, so when nobody else is way the rest of the weekend.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah. No.
Well, listen, Jesse, this has been absolutely amazing, man. We're definitely gonna have to do a part 2 to this for sure. I do have one last question, but before we get off here, and I've been asking this a lot to everybody. I know you've had your own team before, right? But right now, currently, money no object. You could have a superbike team in Moto America. What manufacturer would you have, and who's the 2 current riders you'd put on the bike right now?
Ooh. That's tough. For manufacturer, probably have to go Ducati. Money, no object, right?
No object.
Money, no object can
Yep.
hire all the resources in the world.
Yep.
Probably a Ducati. Two current riders. On a super bike. I'm gonna go ahead and just say three. How about
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
First off, my two boys, Gabriel Da Silva, Corey Ventura, and my dark horse, because I'm just, the guys that are already out there doing the thing are doing the thing, right? Let's just assume they're all signed. My dark horse, I would probably go with who's not a current superbike rider, Dom Doyle.
Legend.
Love Dom.
Yep, I do too. All three of them. Gabriel,
killer.
all of them. Dude,
Yeah.
he is.
Gabriel's an amazing talent, up and comer. Like that kid, dude.
He's
If he gets better resources behind him, and I know that program's working on it because I'm good friends with Dustin now, and
Yep.
just seeing that whole program come together has been really awesome. And I know it's coming down the pipeline with that program, but it's going to be bitching. Yeah, if Gabe gets moving, y'all better watch out.
dude. I agree. I tell him that all the time.
Yeah.
He's a
Gabe gets
good buddy of
moving.
mine.
Yeah, Gabe gets moving. Y'all better watch the fuck out. Corey,
Facts.
love Corey to death, man. Corey's
Glad to
my
see
boy.
him back.
Corey, yep. Glad Corey's back. Shit, that injury. I was devastated when he got injured, and being on my bike too, and beginning in the beginning of the season, so early in the year, there was so much promise for that season with him.
It's 4:02.
And I got all the faith.
Can we go to the pool instead?
Yes, I'm almost done. Just give me a
Can we
minute.
go to the pool instead?
No,
Brian, please.
maybe. Just give me a minute.
Wait,
We'll
you know
talk
that
about
pool
it.
that we used to go to, that me and Mom used to go to?
Yeah,
The one with the little fish painting on the side of the wall?
yeah,
Can we go there?
maybe. Get beat up on a podcast.
Yeah,
I'm
But
not
seeing
sure
Corey
what
come
I
back,
want to go.
he has
Don't
so
make
much
it
promise that
easy
year.
on
And Corey, he's another just super talented dude and an awesome human. Like you always hear about the people like the son I never wanted. Corey's like the son I never had. He's just awesome. So him, and Dom is just an amazing talent. And I was fortunate enough to have him race for me for half a year, in Super Sport in 22. Or two, however long it was. It started out with they had a wreck their bike at BarCon. They weren't going to be able to make a round, so Colin called me. Hey, can you just put him on a bike for a weekend? And then that turned into okay, we'll do it for 2, and then the whole rest of the year, which is awesome. He's an awesome dude, but again, one of those guys that he's just got the kid's got a fuck ton of talent.
He does.
Just a fuck ton of talent, and he's been over there working with Chuck for quite a few years now, and I'm super happy that Chuck's been able to do that for him.
Yeah.
And I know Chuck doesn't have like the biggest resources in the world either. And they're doing an awesome job with what they're doing. So kudos to Chuck and Dom and all the success that they've been having. It's been awesome to see. Yeah, but again, dude, there's so many dudes, man.
I know.
There's so many dudes.
It's a hard question, It's like, yeah.
Or you know what? Fuck all three of those guys. Will Posse.
Dude, Will's
Posse.
hands down 110%. What a guy, dude. He's so awesome. William Posse. Oh, one last question I do. In your personal opinion, who do you think right now in Moto America is the most underrated rider?
Which class? Well, I'll just go with a couple. Superbike, Ben Smith.
Yep. 100%.
100%.
Yep.
Ben Smith, another awesome rider. Just another one of those guys you could always add to the list. Super Sport. Teague Hobbs.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Again, guy's got tremendous amount of talent, you know, and if all the pieces of the puzzle can ever come together for that kid, watch out.
Yep.
Um,
Agree.
Teague is very, very, very underrated.
Yep. He's so
Yeah.
humble too. Such a nice guy.
Yeah, he is. Teague's another guy that's amazing.
His brother's super cool too as well.
Yeah. No, they're good people.
Yep.
Yeah, Twins Cup. Honestly, I'm not really following any other classes.
It's all good. It's all good.
Stock 1000 I watch, which I got to catch up with practice and qualifying from today. Stock, you know, there's another guy in Super Sport underrated, my boy Jake.
Jake's a legend, man. Jake
Dude,
Lewis. Yep.
Jake's a killer, man. I mean,
He
like you
is.
said, he's not a big dude. He's just a tall dude.
He's tall.
Right? Yeah. So I know he's kind of sensitive about the everybody calling him big. So I'm just
We'll just call
good
him
luck
tall.
this weekend.
Yeah,
Fat Boy
that's it.
Racing.
Let's go. I love
Yeah.
it. Let's go,
So,
JL85.
Our very last podium, our very last trophy was the very last race that we ever competed in, right, at New Jersey. And it was a Super Sport race. It was the last race that our team ever functioned in, and Jake got on the podium at Jersey. So if you go to my Facebook profile picture or wallpaper, whatever it was, it's me standing on the wall at New Jersey when Jake got on the podium there. But what you don't see is the laps before that, you know, because I always give him shit, right? And I mean, I know a lot of people in his career have given him shit, calling him big, fat, whatever. He's got to lose weight, do this, do that, and all the other kind of thing. And I know that that's kind of been a hot, you know, sort of thing with him over the years because he's not that big and he's pretty skinny.
Yeah.
He's just really tall. But what you like don't see before that is the laps before that. And whenever he's like running up front and podium stuff, I'm actually pulling my shirt up and showing him my belly as he goes down the start finish straight. So I don't even know if you ever really saw it, but I'd just be like, Fat Boy Racing.
Let's go, baby.
Fat Boy for life.
I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, another underrated dude, you know, Jake,
Yep.
you know, he's had a good career and hopefully continues to keep going with a better one. But yeah, another dude, tons of talent.
Yep.
You know, awesome dude. So I rep it every day.
Yep, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm gonna have to give me a Jake Lewis hat.
Hit him up.
110%. I will.
Or I probably got 6 or 7 laying around. Probably
I'm sure you
one.
do. if he's sending you 30 or 40 at a time,
They're probably
I'm
all
sure you
dirty,
do.
but I don't know if I got one clean one left. This the dinner hat.
That's the dinner one.
Yep, I got the
like
dinner
it.
hat. So
I
this
love
one
it.
stays clean.
I feel you. Well, listen, Jesse, dude, this has been a proper mega time, man. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been an absolute honor to have you on.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah,
We've been
man.
talking about it for a hot minute.
We have been. We finally got it down. We'll sit down and we'll definitely do it again. Yeah, just shoot me all this stuff with you know, the Azure and we'll talk about all this stuff off camera anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me get all my shout outs real quick, man. You guys know who you are out there. Next Level Financial, BisonTrack.com, Chef Eats, TST Industry, The Clothing Kings, SFL Mini GP, RD Racing, Vet2 Track, Flying Eyes Optics, 64 Degree Racing, VenomSport.com, Road Racing World, STG, BTR, KYT Helmets, K-Tech Suspension, Ghetto Customs, Drippin' Wet, REB Graphics, GRG Graphics, Woodcraft, Mark 10 Motorsports, Free Hug Racing, Nicole Pollock Photography, Stick Boy Racing, Adrenaline Engineering, Pit Lane Moto, TBEX USA Experience.org, and CW Moto.
Jeez.
You like that, don't you? It's
And
good stuff.
ASRARacing.com.
Yeah, and yep, Azure.com too. So listen, anybody signing up for Azure, go to Azure. Jesse, dude, proper mega, what you doing, man?
Yep, ASRARacing.com. We've, you know, the track days that we operate with on the Fridays, East Coast and Atlantic stuff, Evolve GT, Motivate out in the Midwest. You register with them, racing school. Like I said, dude, we're banging. We're having a blast. We're having a fucking blast.
Good.
So it's a party.
It's a party. I love it. Good.
Come on and party.
I am. I'm definitely going to make my way up and party. 110%. Well, listen, Jesse, this has been a lot of fun. I'll shoot you a text, a call this weekend sometime. We'll sit down and we'll figure all the other stuff out. So,
Right
yeah,
on,
man. I appreciate it, man. Hope the rest of your weekend is proper, Megan. If you guys don't forget Moto America at the Ridge this weekend, make sure you stop by, show everybody their love. I got so many friends racing out there this weekend. Just stop by, get autographs, get the pictures, spread the love around. And MotoGP this weekend too at the Cathedral Speed at Assen. So,
Are they Assen this weekend?
yep.
I just
Yeah,
watched
Assen.
Italy the other
Yep.
day.
Yep.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So, yeah, Marquez
It's
is.
it's spicy over there.
It is, dude. You know, one thing I want to see, bro, is bring the rivalries back. That's one thing we're missing in
Yeah.
our sport.
Oh, dude, 100%. Everybody's too nice.
Everybody's too.
Everybody's
Yeah,
too nice.
dude. Dude,
Yeah,
forget that.
what's up with
Talk
that
shit,
shit?
dude, bro. This
Yeah,
our next
fight.
topic.
Get on
One of
fight.
them.
Get in a
Yeah,
fight.
let's do it.
I
Dude, you know
talked
what
me
I'd
and
love to
Ulrich.
see?
I told Ulrich years ago, I'm like, bro, we can stage a fist fight with Pit Lane for the television.
Dude,
Like, we can do it.
Eh,
end of the year
I was
boxing
proposing.
match.
I was like, dude, we can be a circus. Like, let's just do a circus. Let's start a fist fight. We'll just tell the cameraman, tell everybody.
Love it.
Like, I'm like, I'll take a punch. We'll grab a beer later. If it's stirring up
Do
activity,
you smell that?
where's the job? It wasn't Marquez just complaining about that. Was
Yep.
he was the one? But it's true. Like, where
It
is it?
is.
Because, and I'm not a Marquez fan, or I am now. Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
I am now. I wasn't for the longest time. Like, and honestly, GP stuff, I never really was like. I've never been a fanboy about it. Like, I just like watching it because it's the highest level. Same with Formula One, right? Formula One on the car side, it's the highest shit out there. But watching what Marquez has done in the past couple of years, just the amount of determination, and Italy,
Okay.
and you could see it last round. Like, nobody could do what he did last round. No, nobody. Like,
Nope.
he's just willing his way to the front, and it's
It's
pretty fun
awesome to
watch.
see. Yeah,
It
it is. That's what I tell everybody, man. Bring the rivalries back. Talk shit.
Yeah,
That's what we need. That brings people.
yeah.
That brings
mean,
excitement.
There's two things that sell in this world: drama and sex. And there ain't nothing
110%.
sexy about us. So,
There ain't nothing sexy about us. You're right.
nope. There's a reason we wear a helmet.
Facts.
There's a reason you wear a helmet. Yeah.
Oh
So
man, I love it.
it's got to be the drama, right?
Gotta be the drama.
It's got to be the drama. It can't be the
Oh,
sexy.
God.
It's
No,
gotta
it can't be the
We
sexy.
gotta
I
make,
love it.
Yeah, make it dramatic. Bring back the
Oh,
rap.
man.
I'm all for it.
Me too.
Bring
man.
back the crashes and the, in motorcycle. It's not like in motorcycle racing. I'll clarify that. You don't want guys crashing in motorcycle racing, but you want them pushing hard, right?
We do.
And
Yeah.
the car racing and the crashes were always, as a spectator, were always cool and fun. Now I would look at that as like, oh my god, somebody's got to pay for that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I know that side. But it's like, yeah, bring back the drama, man. Bring back the rivalries. Bring back the, light up a cigarette at the corner worker stand. Last time I crashed, that's what I did. Corner worker.
Right.
I got a Marv Ultralight here for you. I'm like, done.
Done. Let me get it. Yo,
Give me
yep. Bring me a shot of whiskey while I'm waiting for the crash truck to come pick me up. Something.
Yep.
Throw me a
She
beer, right?
Put a chair underneath me, a cooler for a leg rest, gave me a cigarette and a juice box.
Good.
I just sat out there all qualifying. I was like, I'm gonna stay here.
You got the best seat in the house. I
I'm
ain't
not even
moving
gonna fix my
nowhere.
bike. I'm like,
Right?
Give me a job. I'll corner work. Come on here.
That's a fact.
Bring it back. Bring all the fun back. All the drama. All the
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bring the rivalry back, the competition. Like,
Yeah.
and that's one last thing on that. Like the why going back to grassroots, dude. We want people to understand this can be fun and it can be super competitive, right? On all levels, whether you're an up and comer, a mid pack guy, or you're just an old guy racing Formula 40, dude. Get out there and duke it out. It's this track day shit is cool for getting time and practice and stuff like that, but it's not the same. It's not. It's not. They're two different planets, Like, and I'm sorry, you taking your girlfriend all your track days to try to show off, but you don't want to come racing. Yeah,
You're just a squid.
Your girlfriend's dating a girl. Just saying.
All three of y'all got the same G-string on too. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, no, come racing. It's so much more fun.
I love it, dude. It's awesome.
Girl pair, get out there, come have fun, be part of the party.
That's it.
Go send it.
Well, Jesse, it's been awesome. Great time, man. I'm gonna get off here for my son. He's getting ready to drag me out the house right now to go down in this creek. So this will be out everywhere, Spotify, all that good stuff. I'll tag you on all the socials and all that. And I'll shoot you a text this weekend. We'll catch up, continue the conversation, and move forward. So all right, buddy.
Yeah,
it's
one
been
of the
fun.
upcoming rounds here.
Yeah, dude, I'm coming to. I will. We'll. That's something we'll talk about too as well. So amongst other things, I want to ask you. 2 weeks. Where you guys going to be at in 2 weeks?
We got Blackhawk Farms National.
Okay.
Azure National. So
all right.
See if you can make it.
I will. All right, buddy. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, brother.
All right, homie. I'll talk to you soon.
Later.
See you guys. Let me end this.
Calling all two-wheel enthusiasts, get ready to rev up your earbuds with Pin the Gas Podcast, the ultimate motorcycle racing podcast, hosted by Chris Simcoe, one of our very own excellent leaders here in Roanoke, Virginia. With expert analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive writer interviews, Pin the Gas Podcast delivers the adrenaline rush of the racetrack straight to your ears. Whether you're a diehard fan or a curious newcomer, you'll gain insights that will transform how you watch and understand motorcycle racing. On your favorite podcast app, join Simcoe as he takes you on a high-speed journey through the world of motorcycle racing. Pin the Gas Podcast.